what about Chicago? What about Bailey, so on and so forth? And he said, I really like Darren Bailey. That was good. Anyway, you've got a ballroom that is being constructed, that is being built, and you can't really listen to any of that sound because it's just too distracting. Maybe we'll dip into it a little bit later, but I'm not so sure. Kayleigh McEnany, though, somebody who worked in the White House, who has the understanding of the function, also the age of the White House. I know that it might not be the lead story right now while we're discussing Iran, which we're going to talk about with Jim Carafano at 1:05, about the primaries that are taking place today. 6 primaries, including the Thomas Massie primary, which that's going to be a very interesting. If Thomas Massie survives this primary and then therefore ends up winning his seat back in Kentucky, boy, is he going to feel emboldened. Is he going to feel like $1 million? I don't know. How do you say that a congressman? They feel like $1 million. That's like lowballing, isn't it? A trillion? What would Thomas Massie feel like? Because he's like super anti-debt. Thomas Massie would feel like a red shiny penny, which doesn't even exist anymore. So we're gonna watch. We're gonna dip in a little bit to this J.D. Vance press conference. If it happens here shortly, maybe after we get done speaking with Kayleigh McEnany. But I do want to talk to Kayleigh about the ballroom, the necessity of it, the full purpose of why this ballroom might need to be constructed, but also what are people missing? What are some things that people like you and me don't know, don't understand about the function of this centuries-old building? Kayleigh McEnany will be able to fill in some of that gap for us. Also, I want to talk to her about Spencer Pratt, because Spencer Pratt is taking the country by storm. But the question is can he take LA by storm? Is he for real? Is he a candidate that can do really well in Los Angeles for a Republican? Or is he a candidate that can do really well in Los Angeles for Angelenos? Can he get it all the way across the finish line? He's got to win in a primary. And then, of course, Steve Hilton in California as well, one of the 2 Republican governor candidates. There's a lot going on in California. And I think for the rest of the country, seeing how well Steve Hilton and Spencer Pratt can do in California could be indicative of where the country is, where the sentiment is overall with this country before we get into the midterms. Unfortunately for California, we could see some very positive signs in support for Steve Hilton and Spencer Pratt that don't actually materialize in a victory on Election Day. Do they do really well? Do they make it really close? I think that that's what we're going to have to watch for. And, I just think, again, I think watching Spencer Pratt be the mayor of Los Angeles while Zoran Mamdani is the mayor of New York City is maybe the political test kitchen that our country needs right now. Did you see, Brad, the Fresh Prince ad for Spencer Pratt?
I saw it. I saw that it was out there, but I didn't actually get a chance to click on it and see it yet.
You haven't seen it yet. It's so good. It is so spot on in the way that it delivers a message in a cultural way that would resonate with voting people. He parodies the theme song to Fresh Prince. But he tells the story of Los Angeles. I saw TMZ. Again, TMZ's out there going, Spencer Pratt and wife Heidi Montag eat out at an LA restaurant. Well, what the heck are they supposed to do? I think Dana Lash was the one who retweeted it and said, hey, TMZ, why aren't they cooking in their kitchen? Because they don't have one because it burned down. Over and over and over again, it seems as though the kind of lamestream opposition media to Spencer Pratt specifically, I don't see anybody out there advocating for Karen Bass, the current mayor of Los Angeles, from a policy standpoint. The biggest advocacy for Karen Bass right now, this is the God's honest truth, folks. Pay attention to this race if you haven't, and you'll see this. The number one reason to support Karen Bass is because the opposition is Donald Trump. Because they think that they can tie Spencer Pratt to Donald Trump, and just the mention, the idea that maybe Donald Trump is somehow connected to anything that has to do with Spencer Pratt, that should be enough to get some people to come out and support Karen Bass, because God forbid Donald Trump be in charge of California. Granted, Donald Trump did have a plan a while ago for the reservoirs and the water system in California that maybe could have saved them some of the problems that they're dealing with right now. So we have 6 states that are having primaries today. And I mentioned the Thomas Massie one. The Kentucky primary is a very big one. And Thomas Massie, I don't think that Thomas Massie of May of 2026 is the Thomas Massie of May of 2025 or 2024. I think that there has been a distinct departure, maybe a little bit of a fall from grace. I've never really been a super big Thomas Massie fan because Thomas Massie always, to me, seems like he is advocate for Thomas Massie. It's like he hooked on to this idea that the national debt should be addressed. And that's an obvious duh. Of course it should be. But he isn't offering, in my opinion, solutions to the problem that are workable. He is offering a lot of opportunities to be obstructionist, but I don't feel as though he's consistent in his efforts to try to actually make America better once more. You know what I mean? Alabama, Georgia, Idaho, Kentucky, Oregon, and Pennsylvania all casting ballots today in their Democratic and Republican primaries. These primaries are for their U.S. House representation, their Senate representation, their governorship. So when you're thinking about Georgia, there are a lot of interesting races in Georgia that are going to be taking place. Kentucky is going to have a lot of eyes. It'll be interesting, too, to see Pennsylvania, what they are dealing with as well. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, Kayleigh McEnany will be joining us. She is, of course, the host of Saturday in America with Kayleigh McEnany, co-host of Outnumbered on Fox. And I'm going to ask her about the ballroom. I'm going to ask her about Spencer Pratt. And if we have time, we'll get into the primaries as well. Kayleigh McEnany on the Annie Frey Show next. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. The phone number is 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. If you have a basement waterproofing issue, which you've probably been exposed to here in the last 48 hours with all of the water. I was driving over the Mississippi River today, and that sucker is up. If you've got water in your basement right now, you need somebody who you can trust, a local St. Louis family-owned business at Home Shield Foundation Repair that can jump in there and take care of the problem the first time the right way. Home Shield Foundation Repair can assess a whole bunch of different foundation concerns for you at your home, business, your church. If your church is needing some foundation repair needed, you reach out to Home Shield Foundation Repair. Matt Hayes, the owner, like I said, right here out of St. Louis, will come look at what you're dealing with and give you an honest answer as to how to fix it. And he's going to back his work up every time. 314-271-9900. Call 314-271-9900 online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep. Graybar does that.
Gentlemen, Mark Cox here. When's the last time you actually felt like yourself? Victory Men's Health specializes in hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, and longevity. It's built for everyday men who just want to feel better and perform their best. They already have offices in Town and Country, Sunset Hills, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. They're about to open a new location in Glen Carbon very soon. It's a higher standard of care just waiting for you. Learn more at VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Annie Frey is St. Louis conservative.
Gosh, I feel like this Britney song should be an intro for another Spencer Pratt AI campaign video. I cannot get enough of them. It's my favorite reality television show on X at this moment. I want to get straight up to our next guest. Kayleigh McEnany joins us, host of Saturday in America with Kayleigh McEnany, and of course, co-host of Outnumbered on Fox and a former White House press secretary. Kayleigh, thank you for being with us today. It's great to have you back on the show.
Hey, Annie, great to be here.
There's several issues that I want to talk to you about, and I know we have limited time. The first one I wanted to talk about is the ballroom. And I have so much sound from President Trump today talking at the ballroom, but that is so hard to play on the radio because they were literally working on the ballroom in the background. But I thought with your experience of working in the White House, understanding the navigation of that building and the business that needs to be done there, can you talk to us a little bit about your personal opinion on this effort to build this ballroom and everything else that's involved in it?
Yeah, there really is no big space at the White House for a big state-style event. It is needed, absolutely. And you saw that when the King and the Queen came to visit. It was in, a smaller room. There is this room called the East Room, but it's still by, presidential standards and, hosting foreign leaders and all of their dignitaries and accompanying government officials. It is small by any standard. So for the president to do this and, privately fund, he was noting that, there's legislation working its way through the Hill that may enhance security measures. That part is different. But for him to leave this as a legacy for future presidents, I think is a great thing. And, the one point that underscored to me the need for this was what we saw at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president went out of the White House complex because he wanted to be engaging with the press, as any president has done before him in this, historic tradition. But instead, what happened was a alleged assassin made his way through, busted his way through the metal detectors, and tried to make his way to the President of the United States and other officials. So that underscored to me the need for a space that we can continue to carry on these proud traditions we have as Americans, like the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but in a way that is safe and keeps our president, the commander-in-chief, the most powerful person in the free world, in a sacrosanct environment.
Yeah, and certainly when we've seen so many attempts on his life, it's like, that they want to get this guy. And I always remind people, these are the ones that we know about. There are lots of things probably being foiled all the time from idiots who want to do something terrible. That this protection for our president and all of his guests, all the people who are around him, including the press at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, become part of a potential terrible situation if it's not safe and secure. So thank you for your thoughts on that. I did want to ask you about Spencer Pratt. I know that you've covered this, of course, the Spencer Pratt LA mayoral race. I'm sitting here thinking in the Midwest, living in the state of Illinois, like, good grief. If Los Angeles could elect a non-Democrat for mayor, what could the rest of us do? I'm curious if you think he can do really well for a Republican in Los Angeles, or if you think he has a shot at winning the whole thing.
It's an uphill climb, no doubt about it, because you are in a deeply, deeply blue jurisdiction, one of the bluest in the country. But if anyone can do it, he can. And I think it underscores that we can't give up on deep blue territory. Sometimes it just takes a little creative thinking. Is there a world in which he could cross the finish line? Absolutely. And if anyone can, it is a candidate like this, who is creative, who's on his feet. You mentioned his ads. They're so interesting to watch. They're fun to watch. They're nailing a point that, as Rob Schneider told me this weekend, everyone in LA understands that there's a problem. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see the homelessness, the crime, the feces on the street. So he's speaking to something that is real, that is quite frankly undeniable, and bringing with it a freshness and an authenticity when he does these interviews, and sometimes hostile ones, like the one he did with TMZ, asking him if he really lived in that, mobile trailer. The way he just spoke back, it reminded me very much of Trump, just authentic, off the cuff. And I think that's what the new politics demands. And the most fascinating to me, Annie, beyond Spencer Pratt, will be 2028 and watching this play out, because I think there is a demand for authentic candidates. And we see that in Spencer Pratt. We saw it in Trump. And I think other candidates are going to have to rise to the moment. Gone are the days of the canned mannequin politician.
Yeah, so much so. Kayleigh McEnany speaking with us, host of Saturday in America with Kayleigh McEnany, a great show on Saturdays for you to tune in on Fox News. And of course, Outnumbered, we get to watch you every day. We always appreciate that show because it leads right into mine. It's my last chance to be completely updated on all of the important stories. The primaries taking place tonight. I'm curious of your thoughts on Thomas Massie. He's kind of the star of the primary night, I think, tonight. It's the one race that everybody's kind of interested in. But, of course, with 6 primaries taking place across the union, there's a lot to be determined this evening. Talk to me about your thoughts on the arc, the Thomas Massie arc in politics, and do you think he's going to pull it out in the end?
We'll see. He might, but I think he's at very real risk of losing here. And we've seen this trend happen across the country where in Indiana, the 5 state senators who bucked the president on redistricting ended up losing their primaries. We saw this with Bill Cassidy losing his primary. We could see it with John Cornyn. The president just came out and endorsed Ken Paxton. We could see it with Thomas Massie tonight. And with Thomas Massie in particular, he wants to be, this principled person who stands on his ideology. Absolutely. That's what we expect of anyone we elect to office. I want you to be principled. I want you to stand on what you told the voters. But there's a way to do it and still play ball with the bigger picture of Republicans advancing legislation. And you have great warriors like Mike Lee in the Senate, who to me is one of the tried and true and best there is, who stands ideologically firm, but still, works with Republicans. You see this with Tim Burchett in the House, who, has sometimes been the lone Republican to vote against something, but ultimately sees the bigger picture. I want fighters in office. I don't want incumbents to feel safe in their seats. But Tom Massie has seemed to delight time after time in opposing the broader Republican agenda, and you have to ask yourself why.
I agree. Kayleigh McEnany, before we let you go, I'm curious of your thoughts on Trump's fingerprints on these elections. He just came out and endorsed Paxton in Texas. You've cited Indiana. There still seems to be a very strong electorate interest in what Donald Trump thinks and what he believes is going to get his America First agenda across the finish line. Do you see that having a ticking time clock on it? Does that run into 2028 and beyond?
I think it's here for quite some time because President Trump has proven himself to be a fighter. And this is what Republican voters demand. I hear it all the time from my audience, from people who watch my show. They want people who will fight for them, whether that means nuking the filibuster in order to pass the Save America Act, getting Republican legislation across the finish line. They want results. And they want people who think outside the box. Look, I think when you look at Ken Paxton and John Cornyn in this race, Ken Paxton is the one who came out and said, let's nuke the filibuster. Let's have voter ID legislation. Let's find a way to get this done. And he boxed Cornyn into a corner where he had to reverse his pre-existing position and say, oh, yes, I guess I'm there with you. And I'm paraphrasing him there. Voters want fighters. President Trump is a proven fighter, and so that is why his endorsement carries weight. We'll see how long it goes, but I think his endorsement will continue to carry weight because he's been proven to Republican voters as being true to his word.
Awesome. Well, Kayleigh McEnany, thank you for the time this afternoon. We always look forward to talking to you. We will look forward to having you back again sometime soon.
Thanks, Annie. Great to join you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again. Bye-bye. Kayleigh McEnany is the host of Saturday in America with Kayleigh McEnany, co-host of Outnumbered on Fox, and a former White House press secretary, author of the book Serenity in the Storm. This is a wonderful book made for such a time as this. I think that's her first book, and it really talks about her time in the White House as she served in a COVID time in the Trump administration. And she gives a lot of insights of kind of her personal walk through there. 2 great books. She's a great author, and we're always wonderful. Glad that she came on the show with us. So we haven't had J.D. Vance hasn't started talking yet, so we're going to get to him hopefully here if they start going probably in the next 5 minutes. We are monitoring the situation, you might say. When we turn around the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to speak with Jim Carafano. Haven't had him on the show. He's like a global traveler. A globe trotter of sorts. So sometimes he's offline a little bit, at least specifically during our showtime, but we're excited to have Jim Carafano back with us at 1:05 and just get his latest thoughts and hopes for what's taking place in Iran and also his reaction to the China summit between President Xi Jinping and President Trump. So we'll talk to Jim Carafano at 1:05. And also, I'm really excited about 2:05. I'd really, really love a good bald eagle. Like you see an eagle, you're just like living your life. And these days you could be driving down the highway and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a bald eagle. Now, if you're like me and you're in your 40s, early 40s, way in the early 40s, you remember growing up hearing about how the bald eagle was endangered and they're going to go extinct. You kind of thought that the bald eagles were on their way out, but no, they're coming back. Hand and wing to make America great again. And they're all over the place. You could drive around and you just see bald eagles. Every time I see one, I'm so happy for them. We're going to speak with Roger Holloway at 2:05, and we're going to find out about where bald eagles have come in the last, 2-3 decades, how it happened, and just kind of learn about them. It's just like America 250 opportunity to celebrate and flex on our national bird. I love bald eagles. So if this is a little self-indulgent, hopefully you find it to be interesting as well. He's with the World Bird Sanctuary. J.D. Vance getting ready to take the podium at the White House press conference. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Big question facing you, facing me, about the economy. Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Yes or no? Do you feel like the people who are making the decisions at the top, the people who are in the cabinet, do you feel as though they get it? If you're struggling right now, if you're dealing with economic stress, maybe more adversity than you expected to be at this point in time, do you think that the Trump administration gets it? Do you think the president knows what you're dealing with and understands it and is considering it when they go through and they make policy and they make plans? Yes or no? Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? You can vote on the YouTube, Annie Frey YouTube channel. You go to youtube.com/@AnnieFrey, Frey. But we'd also love your text messages on this as well. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Text the Annie Frey Show text line, and we will feature your thoughts on this throughout the course of the show. We're monitoring the press briefing with J.D. Vance. We'll bring it to you when it happens. We'll be right back. Stuart's American Mortgage. We're going to talk with Stewie at 1:30 here in studio. We're going to talk a little bit about the Fed chair, that changing. That's a big deal, right? Among other things. But I do want to explain to you why reaching out to Stewie right now is a really smart idea if you have a new home purchase in your future. 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan to find out more information about him. But let me tell you why it is so important to lean in to the Bagel Loan and Stuart's American Mortgage right now. He is offering a 1% discount on your interest rate for the first year of your new home purchase. So if you're out there and you're looking to buy a new home, you can, with Stuart's American Mortgage, lock in a 1% lower interest rate on a new 30-year loan and still qualify for the Bagel Loan. There are no closing costs when you use a Bagel Loan. So you go through the process, you lock in that low rate, you get it 1% lower for the first year with Stewie at Stuart's American Mortgage, and you don't have to pay any closing costs in the end. 314-324-4440. Call 314-324-4440 or text him there. Google the Bagel Loan and MLS number 226715.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then, we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
Water, power, internet, and sewer are all essential services we rely on, and all are buried underground and out of sight. Hitting one could mean big trouble. Contact Missouri 811 before you dig to avoid costly repairs and outages. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
It's the law. Sponsored by Missouri 811.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Yes or no? Jump on Annie's YouTube page and vote there, and text us at 314-241-9797 and leave us a message telling us whether or not you think the Trump administration understands the economic state of Main Street. The time is 12:31. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Happy birthday, America, in 2026. Get used to hearing the word semi-quincentennial on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
One that everyone's watching. And frankly, the president's been on a roll right now in endorsements. You go back to Louisiana this past weekend. Thomas Massie, he's bucked the trend a little bit for Donald Trump. He says he hasn't, voting 90% with the Republicans, but the president sees it a different way. 7-term congressman in that district face off against Ed Gowrine, a U.S. Navy SEAL. Both men are farmers, and this is the district. It's framed by Lexington, Louisville, and Cincinnati, but none of those people that live in those towns are living within the district of CD4. This is the district itself, about 21 counties, 19 totally inside. Is the border between Ohio and Kentucky, Indiana, Kentucky. That is the Ohio River. Geographically, that's what helps define it. It is Trump country. President Trump easily winning this district over Kamala Harris a year and a half ago with 75% of the vote. And the dollar spent here is extraordinary. This is a House race. This is a primary. We are at nearly $33 million spent between the two campaigns of Massie and Gowrine.
There you have Bill Hemmer at the board. I don't think that there is a place on the planet where Bill Hemmer feels more pumped and excited than at a big TV with election results up there. He's a big fan of them. I like his energy. I'm here for it. My poll question today was going to be about Thomas Massie, and it was going to be essentially, do you support Thomas Massie? Yes, no, or I don't care. I think a lot of people don't care. Ryan is not here today, so he's going to be out for the rest of the week.
Silky.
Well, I was going to mention it, but not like that. Ryan's taking some time off for the rest of the week. Ethan is sitting over here, and you were what came to my mind when I was going to ask about Thomas Massie. It's like, let me ask you this: you're in your mid-20s, so this matters. You're a very smart person. What do you know about Thomas Massie?
You hear my keyboard typing right now?
Are you just trying to piss me off? What are you doing?
I'm Googling Thomas Massie. I don't know enough about Thomas Massie. Obviously, if I did not work at a conservative talk station, I wouldn't even recognize the name.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Thomas Massie. I know, according to CNN, Kentucky voters are making their choice today. Mm-hmm. Thomas Massie or a former
according to
Navy.
The Annie Frey show, we already reported that.
Yeah, of course I knew that. I knew we reported on that.
That's the thing. I'm trying to every single day with the show. I'm trying to ask myself, what is important to the hyper center of our listening audience? So you're listening right now, and you really want to know what happens to Thomas Massie. But there are a lot of people listening right now who are like, maybe they care a lot more about affordability, which is really what the poll question is about today. Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Do you, Ethan, feel like things are unaffordable these days?
Yeah, I mean, the notable one is gas, right? I mean, gas is extremely expensive right now. You know, I live on the Missouri side. I actually live in St. Charles, where it's even cheaper than it is in St. Louis, so I'm super thankful for that. I just had family over the other day, and And they're talking about, they're like, oh man, we're going to fill up over here because it's 85 cents cheaper here. I'm like, than it is on the Illinois side.
Mm-hmm.
That is unbelievable.
60 cents cheaper just across the river. Like when you can still see Illinois over there. So it's
like West Alton.
The longer, it's probably 50 cents cheaper even there. That place is even more so. But the right across the river on the Tucker, on Tucker off the stand span is yesterday or 2 days ago. No, I filled up last Friday and then I didn't drive anywhere. That's why I didn't need to get gas. But gas is certainly the main part of it. I think that Vice President J.D. Vance is going to take the podium here for it very soon. We're going to go to that after this break, so stick with us. We do want your thoughts on the Trump administration and their understanding. Basically, I'm kind of asking you, like, do you think they get it? Do you think they understand what you're dealing with? Just because, you might not be not paying your bills right now, but should the money be going further than it actually is? Do you feel like they understand it? Text us at 314-241-9797, and you can vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We want your votes there. We want your comments there as well. Ryan out for the rest of the week. Ethan in intermittently to match or improve the chair to my right.
I'll be nice for now.
Okay. All right. I like that. J.D. Vance from the podium at the press briefing when we come back. This way. Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. You need a service call? Gosh, this isn't fun. This is not. Okay, when I tell you the phone number, you need to put it in your phone and then hope you never have to use it. It's kind of a weird thing to say about a sponsor here of our show. Like, I hope you don't ever have to call Air Comfort Service, but chances are you're going to. You're going to need to call somebody, and when that service call needs to be made because the AC is not working, it's 85 degrees in your house, and something needs to happen, you need to know that the first phone call you make and inviting people out to your house to fix this problem, that they're people you can trust. I have had my AC replaced. I've had my furnace replaced. I've had a water heater installed. I've had a duct sealing and cleaning done with Air Comfort Service. I trust them in my house. They're the first people I would call, and I encourage you to trust them as well. If you have emergency service needed, put this number in your phone, and like I said, I hope you never have to use it. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the Guns N' Hoses First Responders Soccer Cup, May 30th at Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. Law enforcement battles firefighters and EMTs on the field, all for a great cause. 971talk.com/events.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month, level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. Call Term Busters for a quote, 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class, exam required to qualify. For details, call 1-800-908-7636. Paid for by Robert Livinger, Insurance Agent.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, has taken to the podium at the White House to deliver a press briefing in the absence of Carolyn Levitt. We're going to dip in and take a listen.
How you guys doing? Good. Okay, I've got my cheat sheet here, so I know who to call on, most importantly, who not to call on. Let me start out with a few things. So first of all, proud to announce that next week I will be speaking at the Air Force Academy commencement ceremony. Last year I spoke at the Naval Academy commencement ceremony, and it was one of the great honors and privileges of my life. So I'm excited to go out there to Colorado and participate in that ceremony. The second thing is I want to highlight a little bit some of the work that we've been doing, the great work our team has been doing on the anti-fraud task force, where we have caught just in the last couple of months billions upon billions of dollars of fraud in our hospice system, in our Medicaid system, in our Medicare system, in our immigration system. We've seen hundreds of millions of dollars of fraudulent loans that were being handed out through the Small Business Administration that we've identified and stopped. And we've also started investigating some of the fraudulent criminal activity and also prosecuting some of the fraudulent criminal activity. So the thing that I say to the American people, and I'll repeat here to all of you, is fraud is a crime that has two victims. It has, first of all, the American taxpayer, people who pay their taxes, who out of their generosity, and because they have to, of course, they pay their taxes expecting that it's going to go to pay our troops and ensure that low-income children have access to food and ensure that people get medical benefits even if they're not able to afford a doctor. I think it's a great thing about our country is that we have this generosity of spirit where we take care of one another, but fraud takes that away from us because it steals money from the taxpayer when they pay their taxes, and it also steals money from innocent people who are meant to benefit from these programs but can't when the money runs dry because it's gone to fraudsters instead of the people who benefit from it or should benefit from it. So we're going to keep that work up. The President of the United States has been very clear that he wants us to focus on fraud. He wants us to prosecute the fraudsters, and he wants us to save the American people as much money as we possibly can. So we're going to keep at it. We're very proud of that work, and importantly, very proud of the team who've done an incredible job. And then finally, just to give an update on the Iran negotiation, the Iran situation, I just talked to the president very briefly before I came out here. It's actually a very simple proposition here. There are two options, two pathways we can go down when it comes to the Iran situation. So step back for a little bit. What the President of the United States has said is, number one, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And I think it's important for the American people and all of you to appreciate that when we say that, it's not just that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, it's what would happen if the Iranians did get a nuclear weapon. We know that a lot of nations all across the Gulf would then want their own nuclear weapon, and then a lot of nations all across the world. And what has been a very effective bright spot of American foreign policy really for the last 20 or so years would disappear overnight. If you have every country in the world scrambling to try to get a nuclear weapon, it would make us all much less safe. And Iran would really be the first domino and what would set off a nuclear arms race all over the world. That's very, very bad for the safety of our country. As the father of 3 young kids, I don't want them to inherit a world where 20 additional regimes, half of them very dangerous and very sympathetic to terrorists, have nuclear weapons. We want to keep the number of countries that have nuclear weapons small, and that's why Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, on top of all the other things that we might be worried about, that they themselves could use it, that they could use it in leverage in economic control or economic negotiations. We just don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. Now, what we did here is that we effectively degraded their conventional military capability. That has been done. That has been successfully done. You could always do a little bit more, but where we are now is the president has asked us, has told us to aggressively negotiate with the Iranians. Why did I go to Islamabad, Pakistan? Why did I spend, I think, probably 22 hours on a plane going there, 24 hours coming back, and then 21 hours on the ground negotiating with the Iranians? Is because we wanted to show a sign of good faith. The Vice President of the United States is willing to cut a deal so long as the Iranians are willing to meet us, again, on that core issue of never having a nuclear weapon. We think that we've made a lot of progress. We think the Iranians want to make a deal. The President of the United States has asked us to negotiate in good faith, and that's exactly what we've done. So we're in a pretty good spot here, but there's an option B. And the option B is that we could restart the military campaign to continue to prosecute the case, to continue to try to achieve America's objectives. And we could talk a little bit about what that looks like, but that's not what the president wants, and I don't think it's what the Iranians want either. We have an opportunity here, I think, to reset the relationship that has existed between Iran and the United States for 47 years. That's what the president has asked us to do, and that's what we're going to keep on working at. But it takes two to tango. We are not going to have a deal that allows the Iranians to have a nuclear weapon. So as the president just told me, we're locked and loaded. We don't want to go down that pathway, but the president is willing and able to go down that pathway if we have to. So with that, I will say thank you all. It's cool to be here. I'm going to give a shout out, of course, to the person I am replacing today, Carolyn Levitt, who hopefully is at home enjoying some time with her beautiful kids. I told Carolyn I would stand in for her today for the White House press briefing on the condition that when Usha has our baby in July, that she would be vice president for a couple weeks. So thank you, guys. And I actually want to start first with Nick from Breitbart. Nick, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you. Today we saw the president endorse Ken Paxton over John Cornyn in the Texas Senate race. Do you think that sends a message going forward for the next cycle to senators, considering running for re-election, or any MAGA-aligned potential candidates that are considering challenging them?
Well, I'd say a couple things, Nick. First of all, I think the president's very gratified by the response that he's heard from the base and from a lot of voters, I think, who are passionate about Ken Paxton. We think Ken Paxton is going to be a great senator for the people of Texas, but most importantly, a great United States senator who can work on solving the problems that all of us confront as a country together. I've known John Cornyn for a long time, but unfortunately, when it really counted, Ken Paxton was there for the country, was there for the president, and that's why he ultimately earned the president's endorsement. He thinks he's going to be a better senator, thinks he's going to make a better candidate, and so I do think it sends a message, but really not just the endorsement, but one of the things the president has done very effectively, going back 10 years in his leadership of the Republican Party and the country as President of the United States, is he said, I want people who fight for the good. I want people who can't be bought by corporate lobbyists, who can't be bought by Wall Street, who can't be bought by special interests, who are going to go to Washington and fight for the people who actually elected them to those positions. And I think one of the things we've seen in the Republican Party, while I can't say that all of our representatives are perfect or all of our senators are perfect, we have seen a much better crop of talent come into Washington since Donald Trump has been the leader of the party and the leader of the movement. I do think we're going to continue to see that happening. But I think the message that people should take from this is fundamentally, you have got to serve the people who sent you. And if you don't do that, you're going to find yourself out of step with voters or out of step with the President of the United States, and that's not a good place to be politically.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Just following up on what you just said, you said that the White House is negotiating with Iran in good faith. I think Americans tend to believe that, but what is it about the Iranian side that you personally have seen where you believe that they are negotiating with us in good faith?
Well, first of all, I'd say it's a very complicated country, and it's a country that I wouldn't pretend that I understand even after as deep as I've been involved in this process from the very beginning. It's a great and proud civilization, amazing people. We obviously have a great Iranian American community here in the United States of America, smart people, very hardworking, and you see some of that in the negotiating team on the other side. You also see some very hardline positions in the negotiating team on the other side. And so I think you see that conflict, the fact that maybe the Iranians aren't themselves quite clear in what direction they want to go to. They also are just a fractured country. So you have the leadership of the country, there's the supreme leader, and then there are a lot of officials below the supreme leader that has some influence in the negotiation. It's not sometimes totally clear what the negotiating position of the team is. And I don't know if that's sometimes bad communication, if that's bad faith. I wouldn't pretend to venture a guess there, but I will say with confidence, it's sometimes hard to figure out exactly what it is that the Iranians want to accomplish out of the negotiation. So what we've done is tried to be as clear as possible. What are our red lines? What are the things that we're willing to be accommodating on? And what are the things that we absolutely must have? And as the president has said ad nauseum, and I think I've said it a lot too, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. We want to see not just the commitment to not have a nuclear weapon, but the commitment to work with us on a process to ensure that not just now, not just when Donald Trump is president, but years down the road, that the Iranians are not rebuilding that nuclear capability. And that's what we're trying to accomplish in the negotiation. Sorry, you had a follow-up.
Yeah, just for Americans at home, because this has been going on for several weeks now. I think what people just want to know is, do you personally believe that the Iranians will come to a deal? Because we keep seeing this over and over again when they go back and forth.
So do I personally believe it? The honest answer is, how could I possibly know, right? And you negotiate with people, and sometimes you feel like you're making progress, and sometimes you feel like you're not making progress. What I think is that the Iranians want to make a deal. What I think is that the Iranians recognize that a nuclear weapon is the red line for the United States of America, that they've internalized that, but we're not going to know until we're actually putting pen to paper on signing a deal. We've had a lot of drafts, a lot of pieces of paper going back and forth, but I will not say with confidence that we're going to reach a deal until we're actually signing a negotiated settlement here. And I think that it's ultimately up to the Iranians whether they're willing to meet us, because I think we're certainly doing a good job, and we're certainly negotiating in good faith. We're going to have to see what ultimately happens with them. I can't say with confidence because I don't know what's in the mind of the other side. John?
Mr. Vice President, thank you. I want to ask you about that $1.8 billion fund set up, weaponization fund as it's being called. Why should taxpayers be paying to settle a $10 billion lawsuit that was brought by the President of the United States? And should people that attacked the Capitol building and assaulted police officers, should they be eligible? Should they receive money? Should they receive money from this fund?
Well, let me say a couple things about that. First, John, I think in some ways the media has misrepresented what this is actually about. This is about compensating Americans for the lawfare that we saw under the last administration. And by the way, anybody can apply for it. Republicans can apply for it. Democrats can apply for it. As you know, the President of the United States has pardoned a number of Democrats who he felt were actually subject to this lawfare. I mean, if Hunter Biden wants to apply for this particular fund, he is welcome to. It's going to go through a normal process where we vet everything, where we try to identify whether people's claims are actually legitimate. But here's the question. When you say, why should taxpayers fund this? Whenever the United States government incurs legal expenses, it pays out those legal expenses. When it's settling a lawsuit, it pays out money to settle that lawsuit. And the question is a dollar of this money going to the Trump administration? No. Is a dollar of this money going to Donald Trump personally? No. Is a dollar of this money going to Donald Trump's family? No. The people that would get the money are people, some of whom have been prosecuted completely disproportionate to any crime they've ever committed. Like, let's just take a couple of examples. Tina Peters is this woman who is about to get out of prison, thanks in large part to the president's good work in Colorado. This is a woman who, at worst, if you believe everything that the prosecutors said about her, committed misdemeanor trespassing, and somebody threw the book at her. This innocent grandmother was going to spend 10 years in prison, completely disproportionate to any misdemeanor trespassing that I've ever seen. Was that fair? No. Is it reasonable for her to get some compensation for the fact that she was treated unfairly? I think the answer is yes, and I think that what we're going to see, hopefully, is the entire country, led by this Department of Justice, turning the page on the lawfare. What I would like to propose, and I think the Democrats, hopefully they're willing to meet us halfway here. I won't hold my breath. But what I would propose is something very simple, that if you are willing to turn the page on Joe Biden's lawfare, why don't we prosecute people? Very simple principle. Why don't we prosecute people who violate the law? Let's not prosecute people because they said the wrong thing, or because they had the wrong political candidate, or because they had the wrong viewpoint. And I think part of turning the page on that, is to actually ensure the real victims of that lawfare receive some compensation. That's what this fund is going to be targeted at. And again, there's going to be a process to ensure that that money is only given to people who have actually, I hate to say earned it, but the people who actually were really mistreated by the previous administration and Department of Justice. Go ahead.
I understand that everybody is eligible to apply for this fund. I mean, you're eligible, but I assume you're not going to apply, and you don't think you should get money out of this fund.
Of course.
So isn't it just as easy to say that people that attacked police officers should not get taxpayer money from this fund?
Well, look, John, we're not trying to give money to anybody who attacked a police officer. we're trying to give money, not give money, we're trying to compensate people where the book was thrown at them, they were mistreated by the legal system. Sometimes, we do have, John, in this country, innocent until proven guilty. We do have people who were accused of attacking law enforcement officers. That doesn't mean that we're going to completely ignore some of the claims that they're going to make. We're going to evaluate these things on a case-by-case basis. And if we think that somebody, whatever they were accused of, if we think that somebody was unfairly prosecuted and deserves just compensation, then that's what this fund is going to exist to provide. It's just going to correct a wrong, and I think that's a good thing. And I'd encourage everybody, Democrat, Republican, Independent, let's turn the page on this thing that we did under the last administration where we tried to throw people in prison because they had the wrong politics. Let's throw people in prison who broke the law. I think this fund is a good part of getting justice for the people who were wrongly treated.
Vice President J.D. Vance from the podium in the White House press briefing there, really laying it out as he is discussing the fraud investigations that he is managing himself across the country, but also an array of other things. As the press is asking him questions, I think he likes this. He seems like he's having a good time up there. We'll keep watching and see if any news headlines come out of this press briefing that is hosted by the Vice President of the United States. We're asking you on the YouTube live chat poll, do you think that the Trump administration understands the economic state of Main Street? Yes or no? Go to the YouTube channel to vote and text us on the Annie Frey Show text line at 314-324-4440. Jim Carafano on the Annie Frey Show next.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis, at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Fight heats up. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump looking ahead to next week's Republican Senate runoff in Texas, now endorsing State Attorney General Ken Paxton, who's challenging four-term incumbent John Cornyn.
I'm so honored to have President Trump's endorsement. His endorsement, in my opinion, is the most significant endorsement in my lifetime. So when he endorses, it has a tremendous impact.
Paxton says he'll be a champion for the Trump agenda. The president calls him a MAGA warrior and says Senator Cornyn is a good man, but that he wasn't supportive when times were tough. Cornyn says Paxton is a weak nominee who will jeopardize down-ballot races. One of them will face Democrat James Tallarico in the fall. Early voting for the runoff already underway in Texas. 6 states have primaries today, including Kentucky, where a Trump-backed challenger, retired Navy SEAL Eric Galrein, Palestine is trying to oust Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. Vice President J.D. Vance is leading a White House briefing.
What I think is that the Iranians want to make a deal.
Adding he also thinks they recognize a nuclear weapon is a red line for the U.S. This as President Trump says pausing new strikes on Iran is temporary.
The president has planned strikes on Iran for today were called off as Arab partners say a nuclear deal could be close.
We may have to give him another big hit. I'm not sure yet. You'll know very soon.
President Trump speaking with reporters outside the White House, where construction is underway for a new ballroom in East Wing.
I think it's going to be potentially the most beautiful building in all of Washington.
Congress is considering a $1 billion budget request from the Secret Service as part of the East Wing construction. President Trump says funding for the actual ballroom is coming from private donations.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. For now, oil prices remain elevated. U.S. crude topping $107 a barrel. America is listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's been a soggy day, and the sog continues this evening and into the mid-evening hours, but showers and thunderstorms will be fading as we go through the late night hours. It's windy and 67, but still unsettled on Tuesday. We're still ahead of a cool front. Periods of rain and thunderstorms. Some of the storms could be strong to severe, so we'll have to keep a close eye on it. 85. Periods of rain and thunderstorms and cooler Tuesday night, 58. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the Preferred Partner Plan. And be ready for the first heat wave. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Kick off at any moment if the president sees there is no serious deal on the table, and these Gulf countries will direct attack from the Iranian regime. I've been talking with regional sources over the past 24 hours, and many of them have been quite silent about what comes next, because there's a lot of very serious intelligence behind the scenes. And again, the United States and Israel are not going to project to the Iranian regime what their plans are. They want to catch them by surprise, understanding that Iran still poses a threat to U.S. forces and allies across the Middle East. So again, what President Trump knows and what he says publicly are two different things. And the United States and Israel remain prepared for the possibility that this bombing campaign resumes.
All right. Thanks so much, Trey.
Trey Yingst from Tel Aviv, Israel, reporting on the latest situation there in Iran and the understanding that it is possible that we do see a bombing campaign resurge here in the coming days. President Trump has said initially that he was going to put that on pause. And, you know, we've made this comment back and forth. What is reported for us to consume, it goes back and forth quite a bit. We see it being, like, okay, maybe we're going to have peace talks and then it's not happening and maybe we're going to be bombing again. It goes back and forth. The G7 finance chiefs have called for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Here's some information from a Fox News report. Reopening the Strait of Hormuz is imperative, G7 finance ministers said Tuesday. underscoring the economic states of disruption in one of the world's most important energy corridors. In a joint statement, the finance chiefs from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the United Kingdom, and the United States said they remain committed to stable energy markets and urged countries to avoid arbitrary export restrictions. Keeping Hormuz open and energy markets stable is a priority not only for the region, but for the broader global economy. The group of 7 allies stressed as President Donald Trump pushes Iran toward peace and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. G7 ministers said in a joint statement that it was, quote, imperative to ensure a return to free and safe transit through the Strait of Hormuz and ease strains on energy, food, and fertilizer supply chains. More from the report here. Trump said on Monday he had paused a planned attack against Iran after Tehran sent a peace proposal to Washington, and that there was now a, quote, very good chance, end quote, of reaching a deal limiting Iran's nuclear program. Okay. All right. You know, we get to the point where President Trump says, "Hey, we're gonna go back and we're gonna bomb these guys. We're gonna finish the job." And then Iran's like, "Wait a second, we've got a peace deal." They send it, and then 48 hours go by, and then it feels like, okay, maybe we're gonna bomb them again. So the yo-yo continues to yo-yo. Yo, Ethan.
Yo.
Your thoughts?
I would say yo.
Yo.
Maybe add in a couple more yos.
I don't know what else to add to this, and I am not going to get roped up in. Initially I think, okay, we bomb Iran. Remember when everybody was monitoring the situation?
Oh yeah, that was a wild weekend.
Did you monitor the situation?
As much as I possibly could. I was at a dance competition, but there was.
That's where
you could argue there was even more situation monitoring going on because of that.
Because you had the ability.
Yeah. And that was much more interesting than the dancing.
X's and Y's is at 2:30, but this is such a dude thing. What does monitoring the situation mean? For dudes, when the United States is like, we're bombing Iran and taking away all of their military capabilities, we're ending their nuclear capacity, we're doing all of this, and men across America, maybe other countries, I'm not excluding them, but I can't include them because I don't know. But American men lean into that moment, and they kind of want a little bit of peace.
You know, I think that there's, another term that comes to mind is game on. It's like, all right, let's roll. We're all in. Like America, that there's something about American pride and just proving that we are the best that just really shows to be king in those moments. And that certainly showed on that weekend. Obviously, the goal is peace, or through strength, right? Is that you don't have to have these situations. But when you look at what was happening in Iran, what led to the United States and President Trump doing what he did, I think you can get behind at least the start of it. There's been, some disagreement since then, but no one is disagreeing, I think, probably on both sides, that Iran's leadership were terrible people. They were doing terrible things to their people, and they needed to be stopped. Everyone can get behind at least that side of it. Now, how long it takes, what that looked like, maybe that's where people tend to defer. But I think that a lot of people in that initial, no, we're not putting up with this, and we're not allowing this to occur in the world, I think a lot of people were willing to say, heck yeah, let's get the job done. And that's where that monitoring the situation, that's where that F around and find out kind of thing kind of comes from.
Yeah. I as an American, I want to see, if America is going to go do this, I want to see them do the whole thing. You can't be half pregnant. You are either there or you're not. And if you, we're already at that point.
What looks worse? Does it look worse if you pull out and you don't get the entire job accomplished? Or does it look worse if this situation is still going 6 months, 8 months from now, and gas prices are still really high and Americans' wallets are still suffering? Which is worse?
To that, I would say that President Trump said this earlier today when he was talking to people outside the constructing ballroom, that he said, I helped build the best economy that this country has had in, whatever his amount of time, maybe forever. And he said we had to take a detour. We had to do this thing where we had to ensure that Iran wasn't going to attain a nuclear bomb while they're chanting death to America. This is something we had to do. So I feel as though there's a concession that exists that says, I know that this isn't going to be popular, and I know that he's talking about the stock market being at an all-time high, that there are still these elements of the economy, which this really goes to our YouTube poll. Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street, yes or no? That President Trump understands that he is making a decision and enforcing military action as the commander-in-chief that is going to conflict with everybody's best interest in their pocketbook right now. But he's weighed those options and decided that this is something that is important, to where I feel like he's doing it even in the midst of it being not as popular, not as politically advantageous as pretending to do what everybody else has done in administrations past, is just negotiate, talk back and forth, come up with a flowery deal that doesn't stick when the next president gets in. That I think he's been willing to do the hard thing and the less popular thing because he believes it's the right thing.
Unfortunately, the part where this gets difficult is a lot of Americans have short-term memory. And the fear becomes, if this does continue, it's May 19th. Let's say it even gets to September. Let's say it goes on 4 months. How quickly will gas prices drop? That is the thing that everyone's talking about. That's what Democrats are slamming in everyone's faces, is look at his whole thing was taking care of your wallet, and he's not even doing that. If he's not able to get this down, how much is it going to affect the midterms? And I think my fear in trying to find out where I fit in this is this going to potentially lead to a final 2 years that could end up being a waste if Republicans are to lose both offices? If
this costs the Republicans the midterms, then maybe it wasn't worth it.
That's my fear. I mean, going into these 4 years, it was Trump is now focused on his legacy and making sure that he can do quite literally as much as possible for the American people. I would hate for the final 2 years of those 4 to end up being a flush because Democrats continue to just say no, 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 no to everything he does. Does this lead potentially to Democrats getting that opportunity?
Well, we'll continue to discuss it here on the Annie Frey Show when we return. The YouTube poll for today: does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street, yes or no? We'd love your vote, your comments on the YouTube live broadcast right now. That's where the live chat poll is. And also your texts to 314-241-9797. We're going to see if Vice President J.D. Vance is talking about this conflict. I believe he is. We're going to dip into that here potentially when we come back. Stick around. We're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back with you shortly. Don't go away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. The rain came pouring down, and it came pouring into your basement, and you got to fix it. It's time. It's only going to get worse. You know that. Wet basements are a big problem, not just because there's water down there. What kind of living space, what kind of storage space are you losing due to this water making its way into your home? You got to stop it, and you need an expert who can help you do it. 314-271-9900. Call 314-271-9900 and talk to Home Shield Foundation Repair. Matt Hayes, he's a great guy. He is very knowledgeable, very experienced when it comes to waterproofing basements exactly like yours. And I would encourage you as well, if you have a business, if you have a building, a church building, a community building that needs waterproofing as well, and you want to go with someone you can trust who's going to waterproof your basement and give it a lifetime warranty on top of it, give Matt Hayes the opportunity to earn your business. 314-271-9900, HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then, we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Good morning to you, Robin. Gas prices ticked up another 5 cents overnight, especially high in this part of D.C. The national average is now $4.52. By one estimate, the typical household has now spent an extra $324 for gas and diesel since the start of the Iran war. The states paying the most right now, California, Washington State, and Hawaii, which are all close to or above $6 a gallon. Prices are lowest in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma. And Gas Buddy does expect we could see prices go up another 10 cents on average by Memorial Day. So to fill up a typical midsize SUV for the holiday last year would have cost you about $58. Now it is $81. Despite these price hikes, AAA is still forecasting a record 39 million Americans will hit the roads this holiday weekend. The best time to leave is after 9 p.m. on Thursday or before 11 a.m. on Friday. The worst traffic is expected between noon and 5 p.m., Michael.
So there you have a report on gas prices, Memorial Day travel here coming up in a little bit. You going anywhere for Memorial Day, Ethan?
Nope. I am hanging around the area, fortunately. If there was ever a year to not be going anywhere, this would be the year.
Brad, are you going anywhere for Memorial Day?
No, I don't have any plans for Memorial Day.
I will be driving a lot, but nowhere terribly fun.
What
Just
does
lots
that
of
mean?
things.
Like baseball games and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Or?
just
Okay.
going, just in a constant state of kinetic motion. As soon as school gets done, I, in my mind, think that that's going to slow down. I don't know if that's actually accurate. The YouTube poll for today, does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Yes or no? Brad, you think they get it?
I think that they do get it. I just think it's a matter of priorities, and I think that they're looking at this situation, and I think that they think that it doesn't matter if you believe that Iran is a real threat to the United States or not. What they believe is that Iran is a real threat to the United States or not, and they think it's more important to eliminate that threat to the United States because it doesn't matter to them how low gas prices are or how affordable things are if there's a nuclear bomb that goes off in a city. They just don't. They're like, this is more pressing. And so I think that they understand it. I think that they feel it. I think that they know that this is a problem for the administration. But I think that they still view Iran as the bigger problem that needs to be solved.
What about you, Ethan? You think that they're maneuvering all of these situations that they have to address? You can't, I mean, they're in it. It's not like you can undo what's already been done. You think that they understand or maybe understood going into it?
Yes. I
what
do.
they were doing.
And the reason being is that Trump doesn't do all of this stuff with the tariffs if he doesn't believe it, in my opinion. If he does not understand that the American pocket is light. I think that it would surprise me if they expected for this situation with Iran to go as long as it has. I mean, what was the original timeline that they were talking about?
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks, and we obviously are well beyond that now. So I think that they do understand it. Would they? Something that I would be curious years from now, if President Trump sat down and did one of these podcasts that he does sometimes, if someone asked him years from now, let's imagine they get this all resolved. Knowing it took as long as it did, do you regret anything? And I imagine he would probably say no, especially if it works, but we have to get to that point to where, Iran is entirely neutralized and the Strait of Hormuz opens again and all of that stuff. I would say that they do understand it. They just at this point know that the long-term safety of Americans is more important than temporary pain in the wallet.
I feel like President Trump has such a deep focus and strong plan that involves distances that we don't. And when I say we, I'm talking like me. I'm not an economist. I you know what I am? I manage my own personal economy. The economy of my family, my husband and I, we manage that. So I know how much money we're making. And I know that last year when we filed our tax, I was shocked. We made more money last year than we have made in the past. Last year was the most money that we had made together coming in. And it feels like we took, it does not feel like we're making more money than we've ever made before. I did I wonder if I have it on ChatGPT or Grok, which one I did this. I was looking into if you had, since 2020, so taking it back to COVID, if you got a cost of living, a COLA raise, a cost of living adjustment generally speaking, is 3%. That's, at this point, an incredibly arbitrary number. There's no... If you're adjusting for inflation over the last now 6 years, 3%, it ain't doing it. If you enjoyed, from 2020, a 3% increase in your income year over year from 2020 to now, which most people have not. Lots of people have lost jobs, maybe even taken pay cuts. Over the 4 years that Joe Biden was president, and after that, there's still been some economic challenges. If you took a 3% increase year over year from 2020, your buying power is still down around 8%. With a raise every year, with inflation factored in, you're still behind 8%. That is a lot. Imagine if you got an 8% raise right now.
I'd like that.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
That's how far we are behind. So you could have been getting raises over the course of these last 5-6 years, and you're still behind. And I think that that's something that Americans know and understand. But I can't not look at what this administration is doing in every single department that they can do it. I mean, name a department in the cabinet. They are working to, first and foremost, I think this is highly underserved in the headlines, eliminate fraud. So we're talking about future expenses, the ability to manage inflation. How about we stop shoveling money into Lord knows where it just goes to disappear out of the country into Lord knows what. What if we stop that? If we put a huge stop to all of that fraud, where our taxpayer dollars that aren't going onto your kitchen table, aren't putting diapers on your babies or grandbabies' bottoms, aren't, heck, taking you on a vacation to a nice cruise, across the European river or whatever it is that you want to do. If you're working hard, if you've saved money in order to make that happen, you should be able to do that, and you shouldn't feel bad about it. You should be able to do these things. If you've worked hard, if you've saved, your money should be working for you, but it's not. At least it wasn't in the old way. I think the fraud is such an under-discussed element to the future economic plan that this administration is bringing to the table that wasn't being... The previous people seemed like they were inflating the fraud, but not this one. The tariffs, it's kind of like, we'll wait and see on that.
That's why I brought them up, is because it's not like doing that. All of that was the easy option. I mean...
It was
he
unpopular.
basically picked fights with every country in the world, or most of them.
Some of our greatest allies.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like that was the easy thing for him to do. He's constantly willing to go out of his way to do the hard thing because he knows long-term it's better for the American people. So that's why I brought that up. And you could, like you said, you could trace that back to just about every single thing that he has done
Trump
up to
RX,
this point.
making prescriptions much more affordable, and growing that, partnering with Mark Cuban on that issue. Who would have seen that coming?
Someone that probably doesn't like him very much.
I think that they have a business acumen that can see
Politically, sure.
mutual
Yeah,
benefits in particular partnerships, and I respect that on both ends.
It's probably a similar way that prior to the election and all this, that him and RFK were. They did not agree on very much politically, but they knew that they could come together on something in order for the betterment of the American people.
Chris on YouTube says, regarding the poll, which we're asking you, does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street, yes or no? Chris says, yes. He campaigned on it. Helped lower prices already. Gas is the only thing that's up right now, but that's temporary. Do you guys agree with Chris? Comment on the Annie Frey YouTube channel after you vote right there in the live chat poll, and text us at 314-241-9797 on the Annie Frey Show text line. We'll be back with Stewie in studio on that new Fed chair next. Point Pest Control, point spelled with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. Have you called them yet for that bug problem you have in your house? Bugs are gross. I don't know if this will fly. You got a wedding anniversary in the summer, maybe get your wife a Point Pest Control subscription, quarterly service, premier service plan, and be like, honey, I love you so much. We're getting rid of the pests in the home. I don't know if you have that many pests, you should just do it now and don't wait for an anniversary. 636-798-0023 is the number to call. And a reminder, if you become a premier service plan subscriber like me, and you mention Annie, you're going to save 10% on the top of whatever special they have going on right now. So say, what's the best deal you got going on? And then say, I heard about you on the Annie Frey Show, and then you're going to save an additional 10%. It's a really smart move. The service that they provide inside your home, it is safe for you, for your kiddos, your grandkids, your pets, and it will eliminate the pests, spiders, ants, crickets, whatever it might be, even termites. If you got termite issues, reach out to Point Pest Control. 636-798-0023, online, Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Today's YouTube live chat poll. Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Yes or no? Jump on Annie's YouTube page, vote in the poll. You can also text us at 314-241-9797 and leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted, or telling us if you even believe that they understand the economic circumstance of Main Street. The time is 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Built in the heartland, for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. My friend Stuart Rosenblum, Stuart's American Mortgage Bagel Loan fame, partner and sponsor of the show. Stewie, thanks for coming in.
Wow, fame. I'm flattered.
Fame. You told me earlier you're getting noticed on the streets. So.
I know, that's a unique one, though.
I love it. Let's talk first about the Fed chair. We've got Kevin Walsh. Is that his name?
Warsh, yeah.
Warsh. He has been confirmed. He's the new guy. I don't know what that means. I know that the other guy was too late. That's all.
Powell, I think, was very much influenced by some political pressure on both sides. I don't think that Powell was cutting the interest rates as aggressively as he could have or should have. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of arguments saying that inflation didn't quite taper off to the numbers that they wanted it to be, which is the 2% target, and therefore they weren't cutting interest rates aggressively. But, the economy wasn't overheating to the point where I felt that interest rates could have or shouldn't have been cut. Okay, and so I think the new Fed chair coming in, Warsh, I think it's going to happen. People get very, very jittery when you have situations like in the Middle East and oil, and they start making accusations, the Trump administration doesn't know what's going on. What is he doing with this war? What is he doing with the financial affairs? The economy's terrible. What's going on? You got to look at it from a much bigger perspective of looking out at in. When you look back at history, you don't look at one incident and say, that president did A, B, and C, and all of a sudden everything went to heck and we don't have it. You look at the situation of this is what this president has to do in the benefit for the entire country and or the world, and therefore calm down. Mm-hmm. When we get through it, everything's going to be great, and so on. The same thing with the economy, the same thing with inflation. We're in a situation right now where the president is doing what he has to do for your benefit, for our kids' benefits, for our grandkids' benefits, for the world. Bump in the road. So when this all ends, and it will, you're going to see our Fed chair come in and say, okay, there's stability in the employment, but you know what? There's no reason not to cut those interest rates. So maybe we're delayed a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately you're going to see a much more dovish type of response to where the interest rates are today. That's what I think is going to happen.
How do you feel with something like a Fed chair? The president put a big spotlight on that position. The president made an example out of Powell for how he was handling it, made him kind of a villain of sorts. Do you feel like the president overemphasized the impact that the Fed chair has on all the things, or is he right?
I think the Fed chair is the second most powerful person in the country. Some people argue the most powerful person in the country because they get to determine what happens in our pockets and what happens in the economy when it comes to interest rates. You know, when interest rates, when they don't cut interest rates, it's more costly for me and you to buy a car. If it's more costly for me and you to buy a car, we don't buy the car. If they can force the Treasury, as Carter did years and years ago, they can force the Treasury to print paper and more money. When you add more currency into circulation, you're going to get inflation, more money in the pocket, and boom. If you don't recall, well, you don't recall. You're too young to recall, but I kind of recall a little bit. But in the late 70s, when Carter was in, inflation hit 13-14% because he was forcing the Treasury to print money to create jobs. Right, and have the government pay people to go ahead and build roads. So this is what happens. Here we are in a situation, interest rates are higher and they're elevated because of what's happening in the Middle East and oil prices. It's artificial. It's short term. We all hope and pray it's got to get resolved. When that happens, you'll see the oil prices drop down. And I'll bet you here on the radio that once that starts to happen, all of a sudden your inflation numbers are going to drop dramatically because the cost of oil and the cost of manufacturing and so on and so forth is going to come down. Once that happens, interest rates are going to drop back down. The new Fed chair is going to recognize that. He does recognize that, and he'll go out and make things happen to our benefit. The old one, okay, Powell, there's a feeling here there was a lot of decisions made based on politics and not necessarily what was good for the economy.
Yeah, I think that's where the spotlight from Trump really came onto that. And you said he's the second most powerful person in the country. That's incredible. And if you're making those decisions based on political influence or leanings or whatever, and not just what's in the best interest of the position and the authority that you have, that's a huge problem. Do you know anything about Kevin Warsh?
I
thoughts?
know.
Like,
I know.
Is he going to be immune to political pressure elsewhere?
I think he's a very, very good choice for the middle of the road kind of interest rate that we're going to see in the future. You know, there were many other candidates that were there that would have cut interest rates a lot quicker than he would or will. And I was actually a little bit surprised in the beginning that President Trump picked him because he wasn't as dovish as he was trying to, because President Trump was running around saying, hey, cut the rates, cut the rates, cut the rates. But I think that President Trump kind of looked at him and said, this is a great guy with a great character, and he's going to be dovish and he's going to be helpful to the economy and not so influenced. I almost feel like Powell was making decisions to spite. And I almost feel that President Trump had to respond on that same level in order to balance what was happening. So now that he's out, you got a guy coming in. I don't think he'll cut the interest rates right away. We got to see those prices drop back from what's happening, okay? But I think maybe
what's happening? Are you talking about Iran?
The Middle East?
Okay.
Yeah, the oil prices. So I think you don't want to go ahead and cut interest rates where things overheat tremendously, really crazy. So you got to wait till those prices drop down. I think he's going to take a breather, and I think then he's going to cut the interest rates. So maybe let's hope and pray the next 2 weeks this whole thing with Iran resolves. I think the next quarter you're going to see a potential cut or the third or 2 quarters down, and I think it's going to start dropping back to much more reasonable interest rates.
You're listening to my friend Stuart Rosenblum, who's in studio with us. He's with Stuart's American Mortgage. He's the bagel loan guy, but he is my go-to when it's all of this, the Fed and mortgage rates that are affected first by the rates that are set by the Fed. And when this change happened, I wanted to make sure I got Stewie's voice in here on this. We are asking our YouTube live chat poll question, Stewie. does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Yes or no? You are coming face to face because you help people get mortgages or refinance mortgages because of everything that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Credit card debt, it's popping right now. Lots of people have credit card debt.
Yeah, too much.
A lot of people have more credit card debt than they even know how they got because things have been less affordable.
Right.
So you deal with Main Street folks all of the time in your business, and you help position them to be effective on Main Street even more. Do you think that this administration understands, amidst all of these things that are going on, including what's going on in the Middle East, do you think they get what's happening on Main Street?
Well, I'm going to answer your question with a question, okay?
Okay.
Who is Donald Trump? He's a businessman. He has interacted historically with other businesses, with the average person off the street, on business issues. The other ones that have come in, they're politicians. They're a lot less connected to the average person day to day on what they spend and what they do. I think that the Trump administration is 100% connected to mainstream. I think they're very cognizant of mainstream. I also think that the fact that he's in the Middle East, and I may get hit for this, but the fact that he's in the Middle East doing what he's doing, you may not like it on an individual basis for the moment, but he's looking at our interest as a people, as a country, long term, not short term. I bumped into somebody on the street the other day, and they said to me, you know what? Why is he in the Middle East? This is not our fight. And you know what? That's the same argument that we had in 1933, 1935, 1939. And then what happened? You got attacked by the Japanese.
Then it came to us.
And it came to us. So why are you waiting for these circumstances to come to us? Are you that blind to think that these things won't ultimately happen? He is a smart guy. He sees this. He sees what's down the pike. He sees what's down the road. He cares about what happens with China. He cares about what happens with North Korea. These are factors that will impact us. And if you wait to the point where it actually does impact us, it's too late. So it's short term, though. He's doing what he has to do now. We pray and hope that he's going to be successful. After that happens and he gets things calmed down, then we'll be in a position where you'll see things kind of calm down and roll. But don't be short-sighted. Don't be penny-wise and dollar-foolish. Look at the bigger picture. Your great-grandchildren, your grandchildren are going to look back and they're going to say, this was the only president that actually took action that made a difference long-term. Most other presidents, they want to get through their presidency, short-term, okay, everything went great, la, 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 everything was fine. But look where we are today.
Yeah, I think. Can you stay for another segment?
Sure.
Okay, because I got a lot more I want to talk to you about. But before we go to a break, I just think that what the president is doing right now is the right thing that never gets done because it's not the best political thing.
It's not, and I think truly that President Trump thinks about what his legacy is really going to be and what's right for the people at the end of the day. You think he wants to put American lives at stake just for nothing?
No.
He knows.
As
what's
evidenced
on
by
there.
all of the other military actions that he's had and the deals that he's made and gone to places across the world that maybe we haven't been best buds with. It's funny because the people who we've been best buds with have taken great advantage of us.
Total advantage.
And there are a lot of people who we've sanctioned who have not been necessarily the best buds of the United States that he's been willing to open up a conversation to ease the peace that that could potentially exist. And, I think about when he went to the Middle East, like just about a couple months into his second term, where he was like, the world's better if we're all succeeding. Like,
That's right.
success is good for everybody.
Absolutely. You just have to be patient. You can't be jumping the gun. Be patient. Have tolerance. Don't force the president to retract something that you know is good for you.
Mm-hmm.
When you grew up and your parents say, hey, you do your homework every single night or you're going to get punished. Every night you had to do it. Every night you did it. If you did it, you succeeded in your grades and made you a better person for future. One night, don't take the test, don't study, don't do this. All of a sudden, yeah, you can get by for that moment. But when you get into high school and college or you get married, you're not going to have the skills that you need to succeed and have the best life that you can. Here it is again. President Trump, he knows the economy is suffering. He knows that we're in a situation. But the alternative of not doing anything is a lot worse long term than what we have now. This will pass. Okay? Short term, this will pass. we'll be in a better place. The economy will, I trust me when I tell you, the economy will come back full force, full steam. Interest rates are going to get cut. Things will be better for everybody long term. You just got to be a little patient. That's all.
Well, hold your thoughts right there, because when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about that was very big picture, global economic scale kind of a thing. I want to bring it back now to the folks sitting in Fenton right now or in Alton going, yeah, but what about me? How can I improve my situation? We're going to talk with Stuart Rosenblum when we come back about that, of course, with Stuart's American Mortgage. And we want your feedback on this poll. You're listening to what Stewie is saying here. I want to know what you have to say. Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? David commented on the YouTube Live, "This is the smartest person you've ever had on your show, Annie." Well, what about me? Ryan Wiggins is sitting there somewhere going, hey, that's Stuart Rosenblum you're talking about. And Rhonda commented, "Hi, Stuart. My husband and I refied with Stuart. Zero regrets. He's so kind. Gary Weed was amazing. They were a godsend." So we'll talk a little bit about that when we return as well. Stick around. Back in a second here on the Annie Frey Show. CiviaLaw.com. If you go to CiviaLaw.com/events, you're going to see the schedule of workshops that they have where you can go attend and you can learn about putting together an irrevocable trust. You can get your, powers of attorney established. Who's going to make decisions for you medically if something happens? That's a really important question that you need to have answered. And chances are you've got a say in that. You've got, I definitely would like this person to be in charge. I definitely would not like this person to be making my medical decisions for me. Whatever it is to you, you got to get it on paper. And there are a lot of other questions that go along with that you need to answer. Document it with experts who are going to navigate the whole estate planning process with ease. They ask the questions to you, you answer them, and they put together something really special that gives you peace of mind in the future. Whenever these types of questions come up, you know that you've addressed them, you've answered them, and you're good to go. If you mention Annie when you call 833-995-WILL, that's 833-995-WILL, mention Annie, get that first strategy session fee waived. That's a $300 savings right back in your pocket. Online at CiviaLaw.com.
All this week, The Mark Reardon Show has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Spirit of St. Louis Air Show. The Spirit of St. Louis Air Show is taking place June 6th and 7th, and we want to send you. Listen to The Mark Reardon Show every day from 3 to 6 for your chance to win.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardie siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-910-2233. That's 800-910-2233. 800-910-2233.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I've got my friend Stuart Rosenblum in here, and we're talking a lot about global economy, local economy. Our YouTube poll, does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? And so we've discussed the big things that affect that, but now let's talk about some local things. I was talking to you earlier before the show, Stewie, and you said mortgage interest rates are going up.
They are. I mean, again, this is a knee-jerk reaction from Wall Street. They think that even though the new Fed chief is coming in because of what's happening with oil, they're not going to cut the interest rates. We've been through this. And Wall Street very often tends to be reactive and short-minded all the time. I don't know how many times I've been on the show. 1 month, hey, the Federal Reserve is going to cut the rates. Oh, next month, oh, they're not going to cut the rates. And so this becomes an up and down yo-yo, and they can't make decisions, nor do they want to make decisions that are actually legitimate because they're worried about public reactions. So right now you see interest rates climbing up because they're anticipating the Federal Reserve not to cut the interest rates as often or as what we'd like them to be, but it's going to come back down. Okay, so this is obviously going to impact you because if you're going out to buy a house, you're going to pay higher on the interest rates. There's a good caveat to that, by the way, and I'll come right back to that in a moment. But when you go buy average goods, if the interest rates are higher, then obviously you're going to pay more on your credit cards. Now, the Federal Reserve hasn't raised the interest rates on short-term on credit cards and stuff like that. So if you have a credit card, I doubt you're going to be paying more just because mortgage rates are going up. So mortgage rates are based on the long-term projection, credit card rates, and car loans sometimes on the short-term projection. So I think that mortgage rates are right now climbing because of the long-term projection. I think that's a false projection. I think you're going to see them back down. But the caveat to having higher interest rates is if you're shopping for a house.
Less people in the market.
They're going to be scared. Now, if you've been in the market.
House prices, I already know the answer to this question. Calling me. House prices go down.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Unfortunately, St. Louis is the 6th hottest market in the United States, so
Unless
it's not going down
seller.
that quick.
Yeah.
But what's happening is instead of having 10 or 15 contracts on a particular home, you may get 3 or 5. So if this continues, people are going to go running scared. Again, short-term reaction. And they're not going to want to jump in to buy the house. And all of a sudden they're in a circumstance where, hey, it's going to slow down the housing market. We don't see it right now, but these rates just climbing have happened over the last week or two. So we'll see what happens. Of course, we have that other program going out to counter it.
And that's one of the reasons also in light of the Fed chair being seated and Kevin Warsh and your comments on that. You are always trying to bob and weave and ensure that you're offering the best opportunity for our listeners out there to get the best deal on a new home purchase. So even if rates are ticking up a little bit, I think a 1% discount on the interest rate for a first year if somebody's getting a mortgage with Stuart's American Mortgage, a 1% discount's a pretty significant discount. I don't even know how you're doing this.
It's very, very hard. But just to add on a little bit first about the higher interest rates, those people that are standing on the sidelines saying these rates are too high for me to buy a house is a big mistake. Because if you wait till the rates drop, like we just mentioned, there'll be more buyers in the market. It won't be proportional to the houses being sold. And before you know it, you're paying 10, 20% over the asking price just to get the house. Your best bet, jump into the market now when the interest rates are higher. Buy the home now, and then you can refinance later on down the road. So we created a program that is literally unheard of because this is how confident we are that interest rates are going to drop and people are going to refinance in the future. So what we did is we rolled out a program. This is only good to June 30th. That if you lock the rate on a purchase with us, we're going to give you 1% under that rate for the first year as a payment. So if you lock it in at 6.5%, you're going to pay 5.5% for the first year. That's huge. We just locked somebody in this morning. They're saving $420 a month.
That's huge.
$420 doesn't cost any more money. Still get the bagel loan.
Like if you get that $420 back in your pocket a month, and you can now apply that extra to maybe a credit card debt or something like that,
or principal.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like you just can get ahead much quicker on things just by having that cash flow increased month to month.
It's a lot of money.
Maybe you can
$400.
even buy a whole tank of gas.
There you go. It's offsetting your cost for the gas.
Yeah,
So you have no excuse
exactly.
on that part. But this will allow people to go out and buy it right now and afford it. And we're so confident interest rates are going to drop down between the next 6 to 18 months that we're offering it knowing that our customers are going to end up refinancing later on down the road. It's a phenomenal program. Anybody buying a house right now, anybody should jump and take the advantage of this opportunity. It's 1% lower.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And I would say, too, even if you're not sure, if you feel like you kind of know where you're headed with your mortgage lender, get a second opinion with Stewie. I have refied twice with the bagel loan, and there were no closing costs, so that is legit. And this opportunity to lock in this 1% lower interest rate on a new home purchase for the first year comes with the bagel loan. So they also don't have to pay closing costs.
That's right. You get the benefits of all worlds. Bottom line is, don't be scared.
Yeah.
Go out, buy the house of your dreams, improve your quality of life. You can do it, and don't worry, it's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, you're listening to Stewie with Stuart's American Mortgage. The number is 314-324-4440. I stress heavily that you don't mind getting texts. My generation is a texting generation. My phone rings, I panic.
That's why I give my cell phone over the radio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why not?
314-324-4440. You can text Stewie to connect with him about a bagel loan and ask him about this 1% discount on your interest rate for the first year of a new home purchase. It's a pretty incredible deal. Like I said, I don't really know how you do it, but you are always putting yourself in a position to give customers the best opportunity to get a new home. And it's really exciting to buy a new home, and then all of this stuff happens or rates go up, and it just kind of puts a damper on everything. You're keeping it so that it's still
We're
exciting.
keeping it so it's affordable, safe. And you know what? I got to tell you, Annie, your listeners are phenomenal. When we get calls from people, from your listeners, they're great quality. They're good people. I'm very appreciative of the fact that I have the opportunity to reach out. I think those folks out there should appreciate what you do for them.
Oh, Stewie, thank you. I appreciate that. If you're interested in a bagel loan or that opportunity to get that 1% discount, the number is 314-324-4440. Call him, text him. You can just Google the bagel loan as well, and you'll find Stewie. Stewie, thanks for being in here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll talk to you again soon. Roger Holloway, the executive director of the World Bird Sanctuary. Let's talk about bald eagles when we come back. I'm so excited about this. It's America's 250, guys. Let's celebrate it. Back in a minute.
You're thinking about refinancing, he has some great advice.
Mark, this is a great time to refinance. If you financed over the last 3 years, you're probably paying a higher rate. Take advantage now. Refinance with the Bagel loan. No closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, nothing. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. For those of you folks that are waiting on the sideline saying, hey, maybe the rates will go down more, I'm going to wait. Take advantage now. A bird in the hand's better than two in the bush. Refinance. Get the cash out you need. Get a lower rate. Maybe even go from a 30 to a 20 year and keep that payment the same. All with the Bagel loan.
And this is a quick process, right?
We close in 10 days. We send a notary out to your house to close so you don't have to take off any time from work. It's easy. It's simple. Bing, bam, boom. Your home is the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. Deal with somebody local, somebody who has a reputation, somebody who has accountability. I'm here in town. You can call me or text me after hours, weekends, whenever it's convenient for you.
Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440 or Google the Bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600. Or on the website, bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Term message from the White House. Lisa Brady, Fox News, as the conflict with Iran continues.
This is not a forever war. We're going to take care of business and come home. That's what the president's promised, and that's exactly what he's going to deliver.
Vice President J.D. Vance just wrapping up a White House briefing where he also said the president is concerned about the cost of living.
Every single day, he's worried about his fellow Americans. He wants them to be prosperous. He wants them to thrive. He wants them to have good jobs. That's why we've done the things and taken the steps that we've taken in order to create record job growth.
But Vance says in negotiations with Iran, the focus is on national security objectives, including ensuring Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The president says Iran is begging to make a deal and that a pause on renewed strikes is temporary, allowing for more negotiations after speaking with Gulf allies. As for the midterms, he's now endorsing State Attorney General Ken Paxton in a Texas Senate runoff next week against four-term Republican Senator John Cornyn.
In a social media post, President Trump says Paxton is tested at the highest and most difficult levels. The endorsement is a setback for Cornyn's re-election bid. The president says Cornyn is a good man, but was not supportive of me when times were tough. Whichever Republican advances in the primary will face Democrat state lawmaker James Tallarico in November's general election.
Fox's Jarrett Halpern at the White House. 6 states have primaries today, including Kentucky, where there's record spending on a House race, pitting Republican Congressman Thomas Massie against Trump-backed challenger Eric Galrine. Vice President Vance also getting questions on the Justice Department's new anti-weaponization fund and whether Capitol rioters who assaulted police would be eligible for potential compensation.
We're not making commitments to give anybody money. We're just making commitments to look at things case by case.
Earlier, acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche telling a Senate hearing he'll appoint commissioners to make rules for that fund. America is listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaid spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's been a soggy day, and the sog continues this evening and into the mid-evening hours, but showers and thunderstorms will be fading as we go through the late night hours. It's windy and 67, but still unsettled on Tuesday. We're still ahead of a cool front. Periods of rain and thunderstorms. Some of the storms could be strong to severe, so we'll have to keep a close eye on it. 85. Periods of rain and thunderstorms and cooler Tuesday night, 58. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Air Comfort Service is proud to support NAMI St. Louis in their mission to improve the lives of those with mental health conditions. Visit aircomfortservice.com/community to learn more.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. A reminder, you can stream us online anywhere on your phone, computer, wherever you want to on the Odyssey app. Download it, AUDACY, and find 97.1 FM Talk to take in the whole station or the Annie Frey Show. You can listen to our podcast there as well. On the YouTube Live, the Annie Frey YouTube channel, every day we have a poll up, and today's is, does the administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Your thoughts, yes or no? Let us know what you think on the YouTube channel, and you can text us at 314-241-9797. Now, we've talked about America's 250th birthday. That celebration is coming up shortly, and I'm really excited about some of the patriotic things that are going to be happening, but there's a specific thing that to me is just as American as it gets, and I am excited to get our next guest on here to talk about the bald eagle. Is there anything cooler or more majestic than seeing a soaring bald eagle? And my mind is blown. Like late 1980s, early 1990s, Annie sitting in a classroom learning about the nation's bird, the bald eagle, knowing that it was endangered, that it was going to go extinct, or maybe going up the river road in Grafton or Alton or whatever and going to maybe hopefully spot a bald eagle. Now I'm driving down 5570 coming into St. Louis from Illinois every day, and I know where the bald eagle nest is, and there are several on my way to work, and I just am so excited about that, and I just think it's incredible that we've come so far in so much time. So I thought, let's get an expert on who can talk to us about the bald eagle. So we're going to speak with Roger Holloway, the executive director of the World Bird Sanctuary. You can go to worldbirdsanctuary.org to learn more. Thanks for coming on with us today, Roger. It's a pleasure to have you on our show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to be with you.
So I want to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about the bald eagle. Like I was saying, I was born in the early to mid 80s and raised in the 90s, of course. And I guess I thought for a while that maybe bald eagles were going to go extinct. And it seems as though in that amount of time, there's been a lot of success in making sure that didn't happen.
You are exactly right. There has been a lot of success, and it came about from a couple of different ways, really more than a couple. I think number one is, since bald eagles being our national symbol were then a highly endangered bird of prey in the early 1970s, it really drew a lot of attention to not just the bird itself, but to the conditions of the environment that were affecting it. So in short, we got our act together and made it a cleaner place for them. Got rid of the DDT insecticide that was causing so many reproductive problems with the bald eagle and other birds of prey. So that made a huge difference. Captive breeding and release and reintroduction and relocation of young eagles to the wild where they had been depleted made a big difference. And really, from that point on, public awareness just really increased to the positive, and the appreciation was renewed and grew. And that also helped. That awareness and love really helped a lot, too.
Can you talk, I don't know how much you are familiar with why the bald eagle became the national symbol that it is for the United States. I'm reading on the Audubon.org website that the bald eagle is the only eagle species found solely in North America, ranging from Canada to northern Mexico. But this species really is special to and specific to our area.
Yeah, the bald eagle is unique to North America, so that made it a good symbol. It does share much of that range with the golden eagle, but the bald eagle was one that I think was a little bit more prevalent for the early settlers of the East Coast along the shorelines and the freshwater lakes and rivers. So it was a unique bird for them coming from Europe. And I think with its white head and tail as an adult bird, it's a very distinct bird and very majestic in that appearance. And I think that's one of the reasons, is just its majesty and its abilities to soar high above all else made it a good symbol. But a lot of that same research will show that Benjamin Franklin was really pushing for the turkey.
Wow. I don't know. That might have changed the course of American history, the turkeys.
It definitely could have. I tell all the Boy Scouts who work on their Eagle Project that had he been more persuasive, they could have been going for the rank of Turkey Scout. Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
No, it seems like you'd be mastering other skills to be a Turkey Scout. We're speaking with Roger Holloway, the executive director of the World Bird Sanctuary, worldbirdsanctuary.org, if you want to learn more about the sanctuary. Just in light of America's 250th birthday, I just love the bald eagle. I think it's an incredible animal. I get excited, strangely excited, every time I see one. I don't know. It's almost a driving hazard when you're driving up the highway and you see one. You got to see it for as long as you can. One of the things that I find very interesting about bald eagles is that they, generally speaking, mate for life. Can you talk to me about how, is that rare for birds? Is that common for birds?
It's probably a little more common for many of your birds of prey, certainly eagles. And yeah, we see Canada geese and swans and certain birds like that. So there's plenty of different birds that mate for life. It's kind of surprising sometimes with birds of prey because we see them as oftentimes individual birds outside of their breeding season, especially. They're solitary. They don't really hang out together or tightly with their mate necessarily. So then for them to mate for life is really cool. And then when you get to see them at the nest and the nest building activity in preparation for the eggs to be laid is really great. We see them in a little bit more peaceful repose when they're, high-level predators, and all of a sudden here they are being caring and nurturing.
Mm. Roger Holloway speaking with us, the executive director of the World Bird Sanctuary. Is the eagle, in comparative nature to other birds that are similar to them or whatever, are they intelligent? Are they extremely intelligent? How do eagles rank in the animal kingdom as far as being smart about how they go about their business?
Yeah, that's a great question. And a lot of it has to do with, what do they need to perform and accomplish in their natural environment and surroundings? Where does their intelligence really need to be emphasized? Broadly speaking, birds of prey are thought to be fairly intelligent compared to many others, but, throwing a blanket statement at it, scientists are finding new signs of intelligence in birds all the time as far as memory and just how they go about their business. But birds of prey are thought to be really, on the average, pretty intelligent and very adept at using their senses, their keen eyesight, their strength. They learn how to approach prey at an angle and to stay out of sight until the last second, so they can use those sharp talons and strong feet to grab it unsuspectingly. So that's where their intelligence lies, and they're very good at observing their surroundings. They're very good at being patient and watching and waiting for opportunities for food rather than flying all over the place for something that might not show up. So that's how I'd say their intelligence shows up. Not like we see ravens and crows and parrots. Those kinds of birds show intelligence by their mimicry, and we think of them as very smart with being able to talk or mimic human speech, which is really cool. Mimicry is an important intelligence characteristic for survival.
They mimic?
Yeah, your ravens and crows, the corvid family, and parrots, we know, would probably want a cracker, the age-old. But they learn to mimic sounds in their natural environments in the jungle for the parrots. They mimic sounds of other animals to throw off predators. So that's where a lot of that comes from. It all ties back to natural behaviors.
Yeah, I'm reading on this Audubon.org article on eagles that it says that eagles hold the Guinness World Record for the largest bird nest. It says the record setter was built in St. Petersburg, Florida, and ran 10 feet wide and 20 feet tall while weighing more than 2 tons. It is amazing to watch any bird build a nest, but these eagles' nests, man, they're like full-on homes. They're like mansions for birds.
Yeah, bald eagles definitely earn that high rank of biggest nest builder because they add to the nest every year. they line it with pine boughs, and because those are natural insecticides, so the nest mites and the feather mites don't overgrow. What's also really cool is that in building those big nests, they get so big and tall, as you described, that other birds are nesting in the eagle nest.
Oh, really?
It creates pockets and holes and
like
natural
landlords.
cavities. And so the bald eagle has created this big timeshare opportunity.
No wonder it's in Florida. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Roger Holloway with us. Before we let you go, just can you give us a little bit of your thoughts or the details on how threatened was the bald eagle at one point, and how prevalent is the bald eagle today in 2026?
Yeah, those are great figures to know. Generally, by around 1972, at the time of the Endangered Species Act, there was only about 400 nesting pairs of bald eagles in the lower 48 states.
Wow.
They had maintained good populations in Alaska and for the most part in Florida. We don't think of bald eagles being in Florida too much, but you mentioned that nest in St. Petersburg. But bald eagles just live wherever there's water. They're a sea eagle. Generically, they're a sea eagle living around water. Only 400 nesting pairs in the lower 48. So at that point, with the protections in place and the captive breeding, their population began to rebound right away. So it was only 20 or 25 years later, there were more than 10,000 pairs of bald eagles in the lower 48.
Oh.
So, and just two other quick numbers. In Missouri, in the early 80s, we had basically one or two pairs left. Now today in Missouri, we have over 600 nesting pairs.
That's incredible. Wait, so just
That's
so
why
I hear
you're
that,
seeing them on your drive.
I know, I'm so excited every time. Did you say in Missouri you had one or two nesting pairs? So 2 or 4 eagles?
Yeah. Well, you would see more seasonally in migration. They would come into the state and then leave and go north again. So we had a good wintering population, but the breeding population was really down. So, yeah, you had 1 or 2 pairs in the early 80s, and now you've got over 600.
Oh, that's so incredible. Well, good for you, Eagles.
It's a great comeback.
It is a great comeback.
They came off the endangered species list federally in 2007.
That's so incredible. Well, thank you for giving us some of this factual information regarding the bald eagle. I love them. I know a lot of people feel a little extra patriotic when you see a bald eagle, as we should, because it's an incredible one of God's creatures, and just getting the facts and everything behind it. Really grateful for that. Roger, before we let you go, can you talk just quickly about the World Bird Sanctuary where you work?
Sure. Yeah, World Bird Sanctuary is out here in Valley Park. We're next door neighbors to Lone Elk County Park, and we're open daily for visits. It's $5 a person. There's over 30 exhibits to see here, including bald eagles. We offer a variety of programs and guest experiences too. So it's a great place to learn about birds of prey and birds in general and the environment. And we really would love your support. We get most of our money through donations and contributions, and we would just love to have more interest. And I'm happy to answer any questions people have. And yeah, just love to have visitors and earn more supporters and with our mission.
Well, people can go to worldbirdsanctuary.org, go visit and learn a little bit about this. If it's something you're passionate about, maybe throw some support their way. And like you said, go visit, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Roger Holloway, thank you for being with us today, and we look forward to maybe talking to you again soon about the eagle population, maybe some other cool things that you have there at the World Bird Sanctuary.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, in September, we've got International Vulture Awareness Day, so we can't forget about them.
September. Let me clear my schedule, Roger. Thank you for that. Well,
vultures deserve some credit.
Vultures deserve credit. That should be a bumper sticker. I love it.
There you go.
Talk to you soon, Roger. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your time.
WorldBirdSanctuary.org. Vultures deserve some credit. And the bald eagle, man. Don't you just love a good bald eagle? They're so majestic. And like I said, anytime I learn more, I'm not really like a big animal person. My family is. My husband is. I call him National Geographic, just like as his name. When the kids ask me what kind of bird it is, I'm like, that's a brown bird. And then they're like, should I ask Dad? And I'm like, you should have known that from the jump. But when you learn about these creatures and how they live, how they produce for themselves, and it's just an incredible, for me, it's an incredible example of God's great creation. And I love learning about the bald eagle. So let's take a break. When we come back, Ethan, sports and local. And then at 2:30, we have X's and Y's. We're going to ask those boys and versus girls questions. Why do girls always, what does a guy mean when he's fill in the blank here? But we've got a special guest. From my understanding, Sue Thomas is going to join us for X's and Y's at 2:30. So if you got questions that you would like us to feature during X's and Y's, text them to Ethan at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Ethan, sports and local next. Well, the Retirement Advisory Group, you know the Kershaws, Bob and Tammy, Thomas Helbig at the Retirement Advisory Group. They're ready for you. Give them a call, 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. The Retirement Advisory Group wants to partner with you to get you into that worry-free retirement you've always dreamt of. You've worked really hard, and now you're in those late 50s, 60s. You might have even retired already, and you want to know, is it time? Can I make the money that I've saved last the rest of my life and still enjoy retirement the way that I've always dreamt of enjoying retirement? You give them a call, and you're going to get a free sit-down conversation with them. It's not going to cost you anything. You're going to decide whether you want to hire them after that call or after that meeting. All on your own. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. It's the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses, and it starts with that phone call. RetirementKey.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative. This segment of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by All Financial.
Hold up. Check it out. Sports and local.
Beefin' with Ethan.
That's the most AI sounding one there
Ryan.
is.
Appreciate it. Doing his thing.
If I may interject here a little bit,
Please,
right before you start, because you know how I like to just commandeer your segment.
Completely, yes.
I got to play this little clip here that came across my, gosh dang it, get this over here. Hold on. Roger Holloway still hanging out. All right. This just in from the Lou Sports Talk podcast video, Ethan Hannaford and crew interviewing the tarps off people. I haven't seen this yet.
What's up? Let's go.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, we gotta tarps off it. Come on. Come
Shirts are off.
Oh my God, man, Dylan! If you would have asked me if this was going to happen at the beginning of the year, any of this, I would have said you're a wild man.
Hey, y'all got to do it too. Tarps off.
Come on,
Get off. Headset off. Headset off.
Dylan.
Headset off.
This is more of Ethan Hannaford than I've ever seen before. He's got his swimsuit on. There it is. Ethan is
You just cannot make this stuff up.
now officially a part of the Tarps Off movement with the Tarps Off guys, right? That's them. That is they.
Those are the two guys, Caleb and Bryce, that started the Tarps Off from the Stephen F. Austin Club baseball team.
Hey, if you've ever wanted to see a shirtless Ethan Hannaford,
It's not a pretty sight to see.
it's just fine. Do you want me to flatter you?
That's very kind words.
Do you want me to put it down? I went right down the middle.
That was nope. I appreciate that was a very
Entirely
cordial response.
Adequate.
Yep, that was great. Appreciate it.
Impossibly normal.
Yeah, they were an absolute blast. We have been doing this podcast for over 3 years, probably pushing 4 years now. And I tweeted and said that may have been the greatest minute in our podcast's history.
That right there.
Totally organic, not planned, and hey, I guess it's proof that at least in this sense, bullying worked. Okay,
a little peer pressure involved in there.
It certainly did.
Subscribe to the Lou Sports Talk podcast, and you can hear that. But you're on YouTube also. So
we're on YouTube. We're on STL Sports Central's YouTube. So if you just go search STL Sports Central, and then you go under videos, we're one of the first ones, one of the most recent ones.
Quick Rick said Ethan should be Tarps Off on the AFS, and Jackie said very professional Annie. Thank you.
I'm gonna hold off on
He's
tarps.
got Mark
We're
Reardon.
gonna keep tarps on.
Mark and I fight over Ethan all the time, and Mark said Ethan will only be shirtless on the Mark Reardon show, and I said fine, I'm not fighting over.
I was not aware that was said.
You got to get Mark to go tarps off with you.
I don't think that's going to be happening. But I appreciate the effort from
You never know. Tune
Mark
into the
Reardon.
Mark Reardon live stream. And that's the only way you'll know. The best is if you do it, but you don't address it.
The tarps off. We just start just both shirtless. Well, that's the worst part is that on camera, if I'm topless, the assumption is that I'm naked because all you can see is no shirt.
We should have stood up.
Well,
didn't think of that, huh?
No, it was so in the moment. No.
Sports and local, what do you got?
The Tarps Off boys, just so people are aware, they are going to be back at the ballpark tonight. It is the final send-off for the Stephen F. Austin boys. And if this game gets in, the weather's obviously been a little bit iffy in St. Louis all day. If they get it in, I have a feeling that it might be the most rowdy Tuesday night baseball game that we have experienced in St. Louis in a long time.
Need that.
Who are we playing?
The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, yeah.
Central Division foe. And not, what's wrong with foe?
Nothing.
You got a problem with foe?
I have a problem with all my foes. That's why they're my foes.
All right. That's fine. They are actually.
By definition?
They just, Buffalo Wild Wings, like the big Buffalo Wild Wings Twitter account, tagged them and said, hit us up, and we want to feed you.
Okay.
So they are all currently at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Can
right
we
now, if you're
just
wondering.
reestablish, though, that Tarps Off did not start at the Cardinals game?
Correct.
We did not create this. It isn't ours, but we are currently in the lead. We're the current 15 minutes of Tarps Off fame.
We did not start it. This got super viral last fall during college football season. I believe the first school that did it was Oklahoma State, but then a bunch of big Power 4 schools followed with it. And then, the offseason, nothing really happened in the winter with it. The Cardinals are the first ones to bring it to baseball. And that's where it becomes unique. And you know that it's catching on. And at first, I think we talked about this yesterday. It's like, I don't know. Will it actually continue? Will they be able to carry it? Well, Annie, last night in both Tampa Bay and in Los Angeles, fans were going full tarps off. There was a lot of tarps off at both of those ballparks. So it is carrying on to other ballparks. And it makes me wonder if it's gonna last here for a little while.
Real question before we get to X's and Y's in the next segment, which my word on the street is that Sue Thomas is going to come help me.
Oh, yeah.
Speak on behalf of women. how long until a stadium has a woman go full topless? Has it happened yet? I mean, that's going to happen.
It has happened. You mean from the Tarps Off movement, just to clarify.
Where there is a full group of men, and there is going to be a chick in the middle, and she's going to be tarp off.
I haven't seen it happen, and my following with social media and paying attention to Barstool Sports, I imagine that if it happened and it got caught on camera, I would have seen it probably at this point.
Barstool would be all over it.
Barstool would be all over it. John Boy Media, all of these big media brands.
Somebody's going to do
100%.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Let's take bets on which stadium it happens first. Philadelphia.
That's a really good guess. I'm trying to think of someone that has really wild fans. New York, the Yankees feels like an obvious option as well. Philadelphia and New York might be the two leaders in that category.
If you have thoughts on this, we'd love to hear. Where is the first female tarp off going to happen? Do not say St. Louis, please.
Kansas City.
All right. We're going to take a quick break here. Confirmed Sue Thomas sighting in studio right now. I don't know. Is Sue's mic on over here? Can we get Sue? Do you know what you're doing here?
No, sort of. And this mic stand thing is weird, and I haven't been in here, so it's freaking me out.
You can get used to all of the changes in here during our show, so you're ready to go for Mark Reardon show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But when we come back, Sue, you and I will speak for women.
I love it.
On behalf of women. Ring the bell. We'll be right back. All right, let's talk about Air Comfort Service and the preferred partner plan that you can sign up for right now. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. What do you get when you're a preferred partner at Air Comfort Service? First of all, you get regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks. So immediately I'm thinking about, wow, that's great, because I am not thinking myself on my own about getting my heating and cooling system checked. They are going to take care of that for me. They're going to check the entire system 2 times a year. You're also going to enjoy discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs. So if you have to have them come out and get you back in your comfort zone quickly, they're going to give you a discount on that. You're also going to receive a discount on new equipment, and you will receive priority service. You get the best from the folks at Air Comfort Service, Corey Malone and the whole crew there. They're wonderful people, and for decades, they have been running an incredible business right here out of St. Louis. If you need HVAC service, 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Lockridge, and I'm the host of a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the margarita.
And then we're going to investigate those stories and find out how much of it is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. Oh my God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
License number GL2500615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping? That's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do, until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, At Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at Purina.com.
Time for the YouTube live chat poll. Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Yes or no, or are the two options. One comment here from the YouTube channel saying, I chose yes. I regularly hear about mentioning fuel prices and its impact. Just need to complete the Iran issue. So it's a matter of time as to when that will get completed. You guys can vote for about another 15 minutes or so, and then we're going to share those results of the YouTube live chat poll. The time is 2:35. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Celebrating 250 years of freedom and 25 years of 97.1 FM Talk in St. Louis. X's and Y's.
Welcome back. This is so exciting. We have a new guest for X's and Y's, Sue Thomas, in here to help me represent and speak for women.
Thank you for having me. I have no idea what's happening.
I was going to say, is there anything you want to say before we get started, just on behalf of women?
We're great.
Are we? Women are better than men? I don't know. What do you say? You want to fight? Ethan, look at me.
I didn't say better. I just said great.
Hold on. What is this? Sue comes in and she's just, Sue is daisies and sunflowers, and then you say, fight Sue. What's wrong with you?
I just want to see what I can get Ethan to do. You're in the Ryan seat. He'll do anything.
Yeah,
that's
will.
true.
Ryan and I are similar, I guess, in some ways, but mostly very different.
I don't know
people.
anybody who's similar to Ryan.
That's
why
a
he's
very
so
good
special in our
point.
hearts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ethan, you said you had a question to start us off here. X's and Y's is where we discuss the two genders that exist and try to figure out why we're different and how maybe we're the same. What's your question?
This question came to mind today, actually. I was walking in the Odyssey offices here in downtown St. Louis, and I was actually walking into the men's restroom. And there was, just to paint this picture a little bit, I don't want to paint it too detailed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bathroom related.
But just enough so you guys have an idea. There's two urinals in the men's restroom. There's a taller one and a shorter one. And
one
that's
for you and one for Ryan.
Most of the time, right, there is
it's
a shorter.
Hard to make jokes. Good. That's a good joke. But I feel bad making it when he's not here.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like he's defenseless. So there's a shorter one and there's a taller one. In most places you go, there is a shorter urinal for, kids that need to use it or shorter people. And here's my question. There was a guy that was at the tall urinal that was significantly shorter than me. I'm talking at least a foot shorter than me.
Short guy uses the tall urinal, and what are you supposed to do?
I'm standing there at the short urinal like, what am I supposed to do? So here's my question, and ladies, you're welcome to react to this, but I think as someone with firsthand experience, that's why I want to go to Brad first.
Okay.
Should people...
How do you know I've never used a urinal? I haven't.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Sue?
I'm pretty sure that's the entire
What
purpose
is happening?
of this segment.
She's regrets
Brad, should there be a general rule as to if you are under a certain height,
I thought you were going to say like a height requirement, like a roller coaster?
Yeah. Should there be a requirement that you have to use the shorter urinal if it's available?
Is it the height at the top of your head or the height of,
Yes.
Yeah.
The latter. I was going to say, as
the
long
latter
as,
option.
I don't think like the height limitation should be a physical limitation. Like as long as you can get over the lip, you're good.
It's just a little more inconvenient.
Oh, it is.
I have a
my
question.
Thing. Yes, please.
Why would a shorter person go to the taller one?
Well,
I mean, why
is there an
are they
advantage?
trying to feel better about themselves, or is it just
I
it's
think
closer?
I think as an adult, your go-to is just I'm gonna go to the taller one. I think it's just the normal thing how guys
and
go with.
it rolls over so fast. It could be like somebody was using the
point.
shorter one and he just came in. He's like, I gotta go, and this is the only one that's open.
Does the shorter one imply that you are a child?
No,
Not
Okay.
always, but I think that's what it tends to be for.
Okay.
Because I remember when I was little, like at times you couldn't
and
reach the tall
I mean,
one.
it's an ADA thing, Americans with Disabilities Act.
Sure.
So it's for people that can't reach the taller one. But yeah, generally the people that use it the
makes
most are the
sense.
little ones.
Yes, that is reasonable.
Yeah, not for kids.
No.
Yeah, but still, I think it's primarily for kids.
Those who the kids are the ones who use it most
Yeah.
often. But
And since we have no kids here,
Yeah.
No, we can't get.
what
the
is
opinions of
happening?
them.
I mean, so you think this person probably normally goes to the tall one because he doesn't want to be a kid, and you just happen to walk in.
My argument is that if you are under a certain height, let's just say we'll put it at like, how tall is Ryan? 5'5"? We'll put
Yeah.
it 5'5".
Not a good day.
Let's say we'll say
Just
let's say
compel
the
him to
five,
use the little one?
Let's say the 5'6",
Say 5'6".
5'7" range.
yeah.
I think that if it is open, if both are open, you should be required to go to the shorter urinal so that when taller people come in, they...
If you have two urinals and the one's being used when you go in, can't you just use the default open urinal?
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
That's the point, right? Yes.
Right.
And I am saying that that is more inconvenient for
If
me.
you want Sue and I to go in and regulate urinal usage in this building,
Then good luck to you because we're not going in there.
too dang bad. Sue, you said you had a question coming in.
Yeah, I have a question. Why is it, and this may not be all men in general, but I have found this to be a thing. They do not close cabinet doors or
Men?
drawers all the way. I'll find that it just almost, but not quite. Why, Brad?
So you say all the way, like they leave it what, an inch?
Just a little bit.
Because I don't do that.
Or
I just
maybe
leave
there's
it,
a cabinet
I just
door
leave
that's
it wide
wide open. Why? What is happening? Why can we not close?
Generally, what happens for me, at least, and this is the best that I can do that will make it make sense for
Jackie
you, is
comments, amen, Sue.
I will grab something out of the cabinet and I will turn to put it where it needs to go, and then I'll forget that I'd left the cabinet open.
You were just there.
It's a second.
Yes, but that
1
task is
second.
done. That task is done. Now I'm on to this task, and I might just continue on into
the
that.
task isn't
And-
done because
and-
the cabinet door is open.
And I may need to get something else out of that cabinet, and I don't want to waste
What,
time.
tomorrow?
Okay, that's what gets me. The waste this time. Bink.
It's the same thing with like whenever we use a
It's the
butter
closing of
knife
the
and
cabinet
we
door.
set it on the edge of the sink instead of in the sink. I might make another sandwich.
This guy gets it.
Interesting and ridiculous.
But
I might be making a sandwich or something, and my wife might want one.
Still
so I
using
can
a
get another
knife
plate.
is not the same thing as leaving a cabinet door. Always should be returned to its original
Yes,
state.
you did. It's boom.
If I designed a house, it wouldn't have doors on the cabinets.
Here's
They're just in the way.
Tell that to the realtor in the room.
Oh my God!
How do you sell that
I know.
house?
Not to women.
dude's house.
Yeah, bro, see it and be like, I love it.
This is why modern cabinetry is so nice, because a lot of them,
Yeah.
don't they just
The
kind of
easy close.
automatically close?
Well, they don't auto close, but
But
it's
they have
just
like a
a tap.
magnet or something.
No,
like-
it's just a slow close. But
Okay.
here's the thing: you still have to go. Bink.
Do you?
You do.
Okay, I didn't think you had to. Maybe I should bring this up with my wife tonight and see if I do this, because here's what my response would be. I am just constantly on the go most of the time, even when I'm at home. There's always
Not any more than a
there's
woman
always
is.
the next- there's
Not
always,
any more than a lady.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not expecting for my wife to go back and close it.
You wouldn't have to think of it because
What
she
I
does
am
it.
what I am thinking is, okay, on to the next thing. Bam. I am like
No.
turning away
Bing.
as I am closing. I am turning away as I am closing this cabinet door. It is like, whether it's closed or not,
at that
does
hip
it
rotation.
actually matter? Does
Get
it
your hips
really
Yes,
matter?
first and you really
Why?
does.
Why, Sue?
Yeah. First of all, it's visually insulting.
Yeah.
Who
And
is it
it's
insulting
me,
for?
the person with taste.
I was going to say
ladies.
probably your spouse.
And you also think, because I will say, well, why can't we just do that? Think. And there's no answer, except Brad says, well, I'm done with that. I've moved on to this. But really,
Hey.
it's just paying attention.
Sue, we have a comment here from Mrs. Range that says, OMG, you tell him, Sue. Man, that's the biggest own in the history of
We're
X's
going to
and
talk
Ys.
when I get home.
Yeah, and I think you're going to start closing the
Listen,
doors.
I'm not going to say I'm going to apologize, but we're going to talk when I get home.
Would you rather have the cabinet doors slightly open, or would you rather have no cabinet doors?
What?
That's the two options that Brad and I brought up. I said,
Sue,
okay, they're barely
I'm interjecting
open.
Here.
Yes.
Do you, as a realtor, do you like open shelving?
No.
It's outrageous.
Now, here's
it's
the
not
thing.
practical.
No, it isn't.
Oh, it's
but
practical.
some people make it look really good, Annie. Of course they do.
To sell their home, but not
in
in
real life.
Not ever.
It's not aesthetic.
In real life, I have so much stuff. You got to put it somewhere.
You'd
and
also have to dust everything when you take it off the shelves.
It's brutal.
Listen,
It'll go out of
I'm about
style.
efficiency.
See, if it's a
I'm not
bachelor
about
pad,
looks.
though, there's only going to be like 2 things
I'm
in
not
that shelf
going in there.
anyway.
Yeah, if it's a bachelor pad, it doesn't matter what it looks like.
Right.
All right. Can you stay, Sue?
Oh,
Until
sure.
Okay, we'll do a few more X's and Y's questions when we come back. Text your questions if you want us to regulate on something. Like we were working out issues here in the range marriage. This is good. We're making progress. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Text them to Ethan. More X's and Y's, and we'll wrap up the YouTube live chat poll when we come back. Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? Yes or no? Back in a minute.
X's and O's.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show is coming up here in about 12 minutes from right now, but we stole Sue Thomas in here for a little X's and Y's conversation that we are meandering through where we discuss the difference between men and women, and we're solving problems already in the Range household. Brad
solving, creating.
I don't know. I mean, if the problem exists and you identify it, you haven't created a new
We
problem.
both
You've
have
just
to agree that it's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Happy wife, happy life, right? So I have a question for you folks, you gentlemen. Sue, I don't know how you feel about the new trend where we don't have gendered bathrooms anymore. It's like men and women.
Yeah.
For me, I'll speak for me, infuriating.
Yes. Unnecessary.
Yes. Do you men, if you go into a bathroom and you know that it is a anybody bathroom, do you put the seat back down? Or, bigger question, do you even put the seat up?
Full disclosure, I don't know if I have ever.
Oh, I bet you have. You just didn't know.
Maybe, but I can't recall a time where I was like, oh, this is a either or.
Have you used the restroom in a Starbucks in the past?
No.
Like 4 years?
I can't remember the last time I went into a Starbucks. So I don't recall having this situation before. What would I do? Seat goes up. Seat definitely goes up because that's nasty.
It is nasty. Thank you.
Is the seat going back down? 50-50. If I remember, then I'll put it back down, but it's 50-50 because there's a good chance I won't remember.
Brad?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I cringe whenever I see that they're, gender neutral
Why
bathrooms.
do you cringe?
Because they're nasty.
They're not nasty because the women are in there.
No, but they're still like
they're nasty because the men
they're
are in there.
always worse than just a men's
the
room.
cooties are disgusting.
It's
They make me
always
sick.
worse than just a men's room, and I don't know why that is. But I see that. I feel bad for you ladies because oh my gosh, you guys have to go and deal with that. That's not fair.
Harshinator says on YouTube, if it's a public restroom, it stays untouched. Sue, that means they're peeing on the seat that we're sitting on.
I don't sit.
That's incorrect.
You hover?
I hover.
Yeah, and whatever happens next happens.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get the good thigh workout going.
You can definitely use your foot to raise and lower the seat, and not actually.
That's
have
what
to
I
touch
do.
It.
That's what I do.
Thanks for the tip.
Wait, you do what? Raise your heel?
We don't need
just
it.
use
We
your
don't
toe
need it.
and
We
flip
don't
it
need to
open?
do that.
Use your
And we don't
foot.
touch the toilet
don't have
seat.
to.
No, that's not something we do.
No.
I'm a great toilet flusher with my foot.
Yes.
Every single time.
Yes.
But here's the other question, follow-up question for the men. In a men's room, if you go into a men's bathroom and it's just a toilet, so a lot of gas stations probably are like this. Maybe they have urinals in there, but if it's just a toilet, do men in bathrooms that only men use lift the toilet seat up to pee in the toilet seat?
Oh, good question.
Because only men, men are going to sit in there too, but
Right.
it's a man's world.
We're just living in it.
In my experience, it's maybe 50-50.
I like to think that I do more times than not.
You
but
lift- you
I'm
touch that thing?
Not with my hand, with my foot.
With your foot.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes, you use your foot and
Yeah.
you kick it up there. Now, is it coming back down? Probably not.
Man, I'm with
I
you,
don't know.
Sue. We
But
hover.
I'll say this. I bet those are being used more times than not for number one.
In a men's
I think,
room,
like scientific, biologically speaking, they are.
So I feel like they're probably, a lot of the times, it might already be up.
in a men's room, do you feel more comfortable if you walk in and see that the seat was up?
Doesn't really matter to me.
I feel a little better because I
about
don't
those
think
things.
somebody's missing.
My mindset is I'm going to be in that room as little as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If I could pass a constitutional amendment, it would ban same-sex bathrooms in places like that. Now, I understand if you have a family restroom or something like that, but no, I don't want to use toilets that are being used by the general male public.
My mother used to send me in at gas stations when I was a kid and say, honey, can you go in there and tell me if I can handle it?
That's crazy.
Yes, I'm with your mom
Yep.
on that one. Next question. Brad, you said you had one?
Yeah. So this one might be a little bit more serious or it might be more fun. What would you want men, because nobody likes a mansplainer, what would you like men to stop explaining to women?
Sue, you got
I'm
anything else to tell me?
thinking,
It's not about the fact that men explain things. It's not men. It's when a person
correct.
explains to you something that you may already know or hasn't even considered the thought that you might have a section of information already in your head.
In a condescending manner.
Yes.
That's it. You're right. It has nothing to do with gender.
Topic. It has nothing to do with topic. Is that what you're saying?
No, it doesn't have to. It has nothing. Well, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that just because a man is telling you something doesn't mean that it's wrong or bad
Right.
or not helpful.
Right.
It's tone.
Yes.
And it's the fact that if a man walks into a situation with I'll just say me specifically, and starts imparting knowledge that they haven't even considered that I might have had in a condescending way, which has to be part of the factor.
Yes.
Then that would probably be called mansplaining.
Yes.
But a woman could do the same thing too.
Absolutely.
And they do.
They do.
Does that help?
Yeah.
That's not.
Have you been having some issues with mansplaining, Brad?
No,
Could you explain it to him,
I
Ethan?
probably have mansplained, and it's just an attempt to be nice and helpful. But like, how are men supposed to know what you do and don't know?
Hey, do you know about this? And then you can continue.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's not that
Is
you're
that
doing
belittling?
it's tone.
No, it's tone, and you can just say, "Oh, stop me if you already know this."
Okay. But if you say it like this, do you know this?
Step aside.
It probably sounds a little bit different.
Yeah, I do think it's really important to know that women can absolutely engage in the same offensive behavior to other women.
Yes.
And to other men.
Yes.
But also, like, when you say, how are men supposed to know? It's not a man thing. That is not how it works. It's not just because a man explains something to a woman, that does not qualify it for mansplaining.
But there isn't a term like that for women.
Yeah, because
that's true.
we're not Gen, whatever your generation is, where we had to name everything.
Gen X, my Gen X, Gen Z.
No, you're not Gen X.
Just watch
Gen X
Tone.
is older than me.
Have you ever gotten accused of that?
Well, not to my face. I mean, you know what?
You're a
Maybe
woman
somebody thought
splaining.
that.
Have you been accused of mansplaining?
Oh, for sure. Like, yeah. Even when you're just trying to be helpful, it happens, and you're like, I didn't mean to do that.
Ethan,
but
are you a
here we are.
mansplainer?
Probably. I don't know. I would say that
I think you have it in you.
I would say that I unintentionally do it to my wife, trying to help, and she never says anything because she probably doesn't care or pick up on it.
Just watch the tone.
But there's times when I'm like, oh yeah, that probably came off a little bit as mansplaining. Like, you probably knew that, but I don't know. It's not something I intentionally try to do to
real
be
quick,
rude.
do you feel like women ever talk down to you, Brad?
Yes.
Is it because they're women or because they're little witches?
I think.
Please say it's because they're women. What a way to wrap the show.
I think it's because they have a chip on their shoulder about it.
Does the Trump administration understand the economic state of Main Street? 76% of y'all, 200 votes, said, yeah, Trump gets it. The Mark Reardon Show taking over here in this brand new studio. Can't wait to see how you guys like it. Next.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
A little bit of skill can save you a lot of money.
You don't need to call in a pro, and that's a way to save a little bit of money.
Casey Finn of the DIY Playbook says some do-it-yourself projects include
painting, wallpapering, swapping out a light fixture.
And there are numerous free online sources to help you get started.
Everything is online. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Instagram, and you can watch a 30-second tutorial.
I'm Rob Hart.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is